Yeah, remember they
It's
got
the
pissed
lack of,
off. Remember they got pissed off when the white folk went down there and cleaned it up.
yeah. And at the same time, like, what the fuck y'all pissed off for? Y'all ain't doing it. We ain't doing it. City ain't doing it.
Right.
Brandon Scott ain't doing it. You know what I mean? They got curfew. Yo, you hear about the curfew?
Yeah.
It's retarded. It's dumb.
It is dumb, bro. I don't know. I don't
You know,
know,
they're gonna
but
get somebody ass whooped in the streets. But the thing about it is that the Nash is way off base. It's not the lack of IQ, it's the lack of opportunity. It's
and
the
the lack of resources.
lack of resources that make people desperate. It's the same thing that would happen if the fucking lights turned out across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of resources and shit gonna make people desperate. And what they gonna start doing, bro? Robbing and stealing and
Robbing
killing
and
to
stealing.
get what
Yep.
they need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. A lot of kids like, and in some cases, it come down to choice. You know what I mean? I made the right choices when I was younger, growing up down there. Plus, but at the same time, I also had my father and my mother. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But you also got to remember a lot of kids never had them choices. They never
Exactly.
got to say, I don't want to do this because I got
Right.
this over here. But they
Exactly.
never want to talk about that. But then when I
No.
say, hey, white folk, they went through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all don't y'all say, hey, he made something out of himself. She made something out of herself. I'm like, but why aren't y'all talking about Oswego County, Kentucky? Number one for
Yeah.
welfare. Why y'all ain't talking about that? Go fix over
Go
there.
down. Come over here to Brooklyn Park, Maryland. Come to
Facts.
Brooklyn Park, Maryland. You're gonna see a bunch of white fiends linked.
Yeah, y'all say black, y'all say Baltimore. When y'all say white in Maryland, y'all say Annapolis.
Yeah, they
Facts.
could. You had Akron, Ohio on that list. They could come to Akron, Ohio. I'll take you to the
Oh no, they
spots.
won't. Well, remember what happened
You
when
know
they
what I'm
came with
saying?
Akron, bruh. That was Jalen Walker.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Jalen
Yeah.
Walker. You
They
know what I'm
don't even want
saying?
to talk about Shaker Heights.
Shit, Annapolis got hoods. You know what I mean? Annapolis supposed to be that
Exactly.
high dollar area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
No,
spots
but
I've
they
been
worried
to when
about
I was working.
Alexandria.
It's spots I've been to when I was working. I had to vest up, bro.
Yeah.
So here goes
You know
my
what I mean?
thing. What is anybody who's the one of these proponents of quote unquote the quote unquote IQ issue, right?
Mm,
If we're looking at it as an IQ issue per se, then the IQ issue takes race out of it. So my question is, what are we going to do with all of these people that quote unquote have low IQ? Because I don't know if anybody is aware, but the standard book knowledge and the standard IQ of the average American is decreasing, period, as a result of
Mm-hmm.
technology, as a result of people going to school less, as a result of less standards. So if Dinesh D'Souza is presenting this as a quote unquote IQ problem, right?
mm-hmm,
What he's effectively saying is that the issue is taking place as a result of low IQ people concentrated into one locality. Now, we could find that same situation across a lot of different places in the United States. We could talk these situations
mm-hmm.
for Chicago. Now, are we going to talk the same solutions for the trailer park that have a lot of the people that will be supporting D'Souza?
That's right.
Probably not.
Why don't
And
we talk
then
about the reservations?
those two. Or what we could even do is if we wanted to bring, the whole reparations issue into it, we could talk about all of the historical wrongs that took place that happened with black people, specifically regarding us not being allowed to engage in educational activity, which over a period of time, I'm sure would have some kind of negative effect on cognition. Studies have shown that. So then what do we do as far as that goes?
You got a point. I mean, I think you got a point. You know what I mean? It's like we said. It's that they what's the word? It's the talking point. You know what I mean? It's that
Yeah.
approved talking point for them.
Yeah, I agree
You know what I mean?
100%.
Chicago bought that's buzz terms that get everybody's attention. It gets the that gaslit.
But my thing is, they never walk through them cities.
They
That's what
never been through
I
these
could
cities,
understand if you
and
walk through
these
the cities,
kids
you saw
ain't
some
dumb.
shit.
A lot of these kids ain't dumb. A lot of these people ain't out here with low. It's just like you said, the opportunity ain't there for them.
Facts.
You
That's
know
why
what I mean?
I told him that yesterday. I'm like, listen, some of the biggest innovators in this world came out the hood.
Yeah,
Look at
just
Ben
like some of
Carson.
the
Everybody
biggest
hate Ben
innovators.
Carson.
Ben Carson
Everybody
came
hate
out the
Ben
hood of a single
out
parent
the
household.
hood,
Yeah.
out the hood. And what he did, he the biggest innovator in medical advancements. Period.
Yeah, he's a
The
neurosurgeon, isn't he?
neurosurgeon, first person to separate conjoined twins at the head.
But he a coon.
Trailblazing cardiovascular surgeries and stuff like that.
I mean, he
But
is
he
a coon, but
though.
still.
But
he
you
is
know
a
what I
coon,
mean.
but
Like,
still.
I
That's all they
said
remember. That's all they're gonna remember him for.
That's all they're gonna remember him for. And not for, like, I remember back in the day, kids was doing Champions of Courage essays on Ben Carson. The minute they found out he aligned with Trump, now he a coon. He this, he that, he dumb. He got something wrong with him because he talks slow. All this other stuff.
He fall asleep.
Right. Then
I mean, the president falls asleep.
That's true.
Right.
But check this out though, and I said this yesterday. Dinesh said all that, but when people bring up, "Hey, give me your top 5 conservatives," he don't even make the list. They'll go get the Kundins first.
No,
and she's a black woman.
He only got his recognitions because he went to jail and he got pardoned, right?
Yeah. Well,
And
he
then
did. He got a sweetheart deal.
Yeah, and then he made those two documentaries
that people shit on, saying that your information is wrong.
Who made the documentaries? You talking about Dinesh?
Yeah, he made 2,000 Mules where he was talking about trafficking, and people were like, "Where did you get your info from?" Like, look at this. This is it right here. This is on the IMDb page. 5.3 out of 10. Come on, bro. Come on. Look at this. How many ones did you get, sir?
I ain't gonna front. I actually thought that one was all right, but what was the other one he made? That one I was like, nah, bro. I'm sorry, I can't get it.
Wasn't it?
I can't remember what it
right,
is.
The Secret History of the Democrat Party.
Is that what it was?
He wrote that one. Yeah.
And then he had another one though.
Death in the Nation, America.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Death in the
Nation. Yeah. But the thing
they
is,
got lower marks.
But you're going to start to see more people like they're like, so like, for example, right? Bryson Gray starting to wake up.
I saw that he went at him yesterday too.
Bryson Gray starting to wake up, and that wasn't the first time Bryson Gray either went Hotep, you know what I mean, or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, so you're going to start ABL starting to wake up a little more.
See, that's
yep.
My man TD Hip Hop Media got a lot of faith in ABL. I'll be like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
I got faith in him because I've heard him preach a pro-black message, but I understand. Remember what I said when he started talking pro-black, they were like, "You're not getting to 1 million subscribers."
Oh yeah. You know that's how that go. He's not pushing them buzzwords, you know, that they need him to push. You know what I mean? And let's not pretend that a lot of these people ain't come from a casting agency or some big company ain't got behind to push them.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? If it weren't for Turning Point, Candace and Brandon Tatum wouldn't be where they at.
I agree 100%. And that goes back to the question that I've been asking on Twitter all the time is when it comes to these people like Brandon Tatum, when it comes to these people like Candace Owens, when it comes to a lot of these people, how many of these people have actually built their platform based on accurate information delivery and consumer appeal? And not very many of them.
Not very many. Look what happened with Hotep Jesus and Amazing Lucas.
Yeah.
Turning Point got their asses out of there.
Yeah.
Because they wasn't pushing the message they wanted them to push.
Yeah. Yeah, you know and Hotep Jesus, if you ask me, he's a great content creator. You know what I'm saying? Dude got the natural personality to be on YouTube. He's funny. He should at least have over 100,000 subscribers. I was shocked. He's been doing content for a minute. I used to watch him on Periscope.
But when the apocalypse happened, a lot of real ones got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, Hotep Jesus, Uncle Hotep been stuck at 40-something thousand subscribers for the past like 7 years, and he was jamming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Amazing Lucas grew.
Well, he lost a lot after Trump lost. A lot of his crowd didn't like the fact that he was going at everybody, so they said, "Now we out." So he had to rebuild his.
But now they see what the fuck you talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now they all starting to look like oh shit. Now they starting to question, narratives now. A lot of people thought Amazing Lucas was nuts. I ain't gonna lie. A couple times, I was like, then I was like, nah, he on point with it right now. He on base with it right now. He shed that whole, Trump.
I'm glad you brothers here because I respect y'all opinions. I want y'all to listen to something. I want everybody in the room to listen to this. Y'all see this title, right? Neither slaves nor immigrants built America. Here's who actually did. He finna educate us. Fair use. Man. I tagged you. Bring your bitch ass over here.
He's the one that followed you, Dinesh? He followed
No,
you?
Darrell Scott.
Oh, Darrell Scott. Okay.
Here you go. Let's see what he said.
America was built on slavery. This has become a standard trope of critical race theory. It is something that is taught in our schools. It is something that has now surfaced on a Disney show called The Proud Family. It's a kind of a cartoon show, and but weaved into it are themes of slavery and reparations. And I want to just quote a line or two. This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. It goes on to talk about why that creates a foundation, a moral foundation for reparations. Now, this may seem like inarguable, which is to say self-evident. I want to argue that's one of those things that we tend to take for granted so much that it takes a little bit of thought and scrutiny to realize that it's not true. What is not true? This country was not built on slavery, and slaves didn't build it. And think of how if what I said is true, it blows the foundation for reparations right out of the water. The premise itself is false. But how can it be false? Didn't slaves, at least some would say, well, they certainly helped to build this country, didn't they? And I would say, in a sense, no. And why, the reason I say no is because it's not that the slaves didn't do any building. Slaves, of course, there was some slavery in the North also before the American founding. Most of slavery was either abolished or on its way to being abolished in the era of the American founding. And then slavery became more regional. It was in the South, mainly plantation slavery, small and large plantations. Okay, so the slaves built the plantations. But what happened to the plantations in the Civil War? They were destroyed. They were leveled to the ground. Sherman burned Atlanta. So at the end of the Civil War, what was left in the South was very little. Just land, agriculture. The South had to sort of rebuild its way out of, a kind of rubble. So what the slaves built was destroyed during the Civil War. And the idea that America today is somehow built by slavery is nonsensical.
That doesn't discount.
I hate this man. I hate this man.
Well, here's my thing, right? We don't even have to go through any of that. Here's the question. How do you physically burn down an economy? How do you physically burn down an economy? Because for one, as we all know, from principles of microeconomics and principles of macroeconomics, war stimulates the economy. So we already had the agriculture economy that was going on down south that was booming, that provided the stepping stone for the United States to have the jump into the Industrial Revolution. And then on top of it, there was the war that was related to what was going on, which also provided the economy a boost. So the question is, are we saying structures, or are we saying the economy, or are we saying both? Now, we can burn down a physical structure, but the question is, how do you burn down an economy? If you ask me, the economy that we have still has us in a position of power today. People always ask the question of how does slavery affect people that are alive today? Slavery has affected every single American alive today because it springboarded this wonderful economy that we have that we utilize to bully the rest of the world, which gives us the comfortable lives that we have here.
He don't care about that, bro. This is the conservative way of saying black folks don't deserve shit.
Well, we're talking about these people, I think if I'm not mistaken, the Southern Asian people, if we're on this IQ conversation, he's supposed to have a far higher IQ than me. So he should easily be able to,
because how will you have a farther IQ, but you got caught up in a campaign scandal?
Right.
You got Fed charges. Most black folks don't have Fed charges.
Right.
Trump pardoned you through a tweet. That's what you said, sir.
Exactly what happened. I mean, but like, I'm along the lines of like, you know what I mean? Hey, y'all want to give me some money? Like, now I know that my struggle ain't what my grandparents' struggle was, and they're struggling with their parents' struggle was. You know what I mean? I ain't going as far to see that, but at the same time, it's like the Jews got their reparations after World War II, right?
Yeah, to repair their legacies that the Germans destroyed.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
All, that's what reparations is. It's more important than just the cash and all that. It's about repairing these legacies that these white folk took away from black people. That's what it's about.
Here's the easier question to shut all of this down. See, like, I'm gonna actually shut it down, unlike Dinesh. At what point were black Americans allowed to participate in the United States economy?
You know he gonna say the 60s with integration. You know that's what he gonna say. That's the conservative move. Integration.
Fair enough. Are there people that are alive from the 60s today that were born prior to the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah, our parents, our grandparents, right? So that means that it was impossible for them to build any kind of generational wealth. Wealth building is related to these high crime rates that Dinesh relates to IQ. My question is, if that's
still people living. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if that's the case, then what should we do about that?
Right, because there's still people living in these in certain neighborhoods due to redlining.
Yeah,
you
big fact.
You know,
they don't want to bring up Blockbuster until it's time to go after them Democrats.
Right, and the thing about it is, it's just like I said, it's all lack of opportunity, man. Like even with, let's just say the reparations thing. Let's just say they cut everybody a check for $1 million, right? What they've done is successfully dumb down certain communities, right? Because I always say, like that the Dave Chappelle skit, right? That shit is true. That shit is true. That's what would like. Unfortunately, that's what would happen in a lot of families. They get that money and that shit be gone, right? They get the mill. They'll go buy a $600,000 house. They'll get a $500,000 car, and then they forget they got to pay taxes and all that other shit, right? Then a lot of people would be worse off. But the thing about it is, we gotta get our people financially literate. You know what I mean?
I actually respectfully disagree with that.
Really?
They're going to use that as a minority.
Yeah, I was going to say, because here's the question. How many black people are alive today, right now, currently, that work a job currently, that are actually managing their money effectively? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in that case, I do agree with you.
Yeah,
right?
I'll
say that's the minority. I'll give you that.
Yeah, because like my thing is, if we look at the reparations, right, and we say, well, certain people will blow their money. Look at all the lottery winners who have blown their money, right? Should we stop the lottery because that's a small percentage of people? Exactly.
Oh no, I'm not saying stop. I'm not saying stop.
No. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. My thing is that the reason why I say, like, I'm again, no disrespect, bro. When people say that kind of thing, the thing is that somebody like a Dinesh D'Souza or somebody like one of these, Christopher Rufo type cats, they'll take that talking point and run with it, and it's like, we're not giving you guys any ammunition to put in your weapons. You know what I'm saying?
I feel it definitely would be the minority. I would hate to see it. That's what I'm
right.
I would hate
but the thing is, they're going to use the minority as the argument.
Oh, of course. Now, me personally, I'm like, give me tax free. I'll take tax free. You know what I mean? I want to be tax free, and I don't know, give me like an acre of land somewhere, 3 or 4 acres of land somewhere. You know what I mean? You know, something that I can build with. But I'm like, fuck. Like, people always, no. I'm like, no, you crazy. If they're gonna cut me a check, I'm taking that check. I know what to do with my money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So stop trying to count people out on behalf of they don't know no better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be people in any race or ethnicity that don't know no better. They're going to mismanage shit.
Yep.
Like
how many white people mismanage their money every day?
All day, every day. But that doesn't negate everybody else.
You know what's funny? I would love for Dinesh to come down to Atlanta and we go up to Buckhead and I show him all the for sale signs up there.
I guarantee it, man. Listen,
shit.
Bring them here to Woodstock. You know what I mean? Bring them out to Montgomery County, the richest black. Bring them to the richest black neighborhood in Maryland.
Right, but we know why they also don't want to give y'all reparations, because the banking system would crash,
bro.
All y'all would be paying in cash. Where's that money going? It ain't going in the bank.
Right. I wouldn't put it in the bank.
The first day of them checks, there'll be massive withdrawals. People like, listen, I'm just gonna play cash. You ain't finna track me where my money going.
Yeah, especially now with the CBDC jumping off, where they trying to limit the amount of money you can stack.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to limit the amount of money you stack to 10K.
Yep.
And that's the stuff I'm talking about. They're hamstringing the communities. How many black folks got rich off Bitcoin, yo? How many black folks got rich off Bitcoin?
Right. Not many.
And look, they trying to make sure that shit don't happen.
Right.
You know
what I mean? Hear what the rest of this asshole said. Dude, why he look like he owns like 3 subways?
Because he might own 3 subways.
It's tempting for people to go from there to say, well, all right, but what about the immigrants? Didn't the immigrants build America? No, they didn't either. Now, I'm not saying that the immigrants, again, didn't do anything. They didn't work. But the country was built by the original European settlers. They are the ones who established.
Come on, bro. So
who was it? It wasn't no European settlers in the field, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Was
They
Benjamin
probably did it for
Banneker
3 days and said, we can't do this.
was Benjamin Banneker a European settler?
Jesus,
Did he build anything? Anybody want to tell me what he built?
Oh God.
Now
And
check
even if
out
you-
check out the
and
bottom
he-
of this video. Check out the bottom of this video. There's no notation for misinformation.
Oh, I know.
No, of course not.
There you
But
go.
that's the thing, right? So
Perfect
check it,
common
right?
sense. You see what I mean?
But this is the thing, right? Let's just say that he said that. Even the European settlers were what? Immigrants.
There you go.
The fuck? We had the Louisiana Purchase. Who we purchased fucking Louisiana from?
Exactly. This is the guy with the this is the guy with
This
the
is
high
the
IQ.
conservatives. This is why I call them dumb conservatives.
This is
You're
the
dumb
IQ guy.
servants.
This is the IQ guy. You guys need to hurry this up. I got a gas station to rob. You know what I'm saying?
Establish the economic and political and moral foundations for a strong, prosperous, and decent nation. And then this is me tweeting, we are all living off the fruits of their labor. I knew when I said this, it would sort of set off a little bit of a social media stir. And sure enough, I get all kinds of comebacks. And one of these comebacks is, well, Dinesh, the settlers are the same as immigrants. You're talking about settlers, but didn't the settlers come from another country? Doesn't this make them immigrants? No, settlers are not the same as immigrants.
Settlers are not the same as immigrants. It's okay. Hey, you know what? He could be right, family. He could be right.
And also, they didn't settle. There was already people here.
Right.
Exactly. It's like if I left, I'm still settling somewhere. If
Let's
I bought
look
a
up the
new
definition
house,
of settlers.
I'm settling in a new house.
It's not like they went to Antarctica where there's nobody. They went to the United States and slaughtered a bunch of people.
Here we go. Settlers.
You know?
One who settles in a new region, especially a region that has few occupants or is that occupied by people of a different ethnic or religious group. Say less. Let's look up immigrants. Person who leaves one country to settle permanently in another.
That's pretty much sounds like the 70% majority here in the United States, if you ask me.
I mean, remember the old Schoolhouse Rock song, "The Great American Melting Pot"? Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, like, so now you want to tell us that the United States it's not founded on immigration and settling here? We're probably the most diverse group, probably the most diverse country in the world, based on immigration.
Illegal immigration at that.
Facts.
None of those people asked any. None of those people ever were naturalized. None of those people ever, filed any papers. None of those people ever did anything. You know what I'm saying? They filed hot bullets.
We got guns and fucking smallpox.
Right, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Even though they stole gunpowder from the Chinese, but
we got measles in magazines. You know,
measles in magazines. Right. How do I know they didn't send malaria to Africa?
Well, I'll tell you what, malaria is one of the reasons why they couldn't go so deep in Africa. That's one of the reasons why black people have sickle cell, because the fibrous regions on the outside of the red blood cells stop the malaria carrying mosquitoes from being able to infiltrate.
Yes,
that's
sir.
one of the reasons why those people couldn't get down into those lower regions of Africa, because of their superior immune systems.
But they don't want to talk about this. Hey, Dinesh, ain't you from India, sir? I could be wrong. I think he's from India, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Didn't India just become the poverty capital of the world?
Not with the last name like the Caesar.
Yeah, I think he's from Indian American.
I think
he was born in Mumbai. Sir, your country just became the leading poverty country in the world, sir.
Yeah, their little rivers and stuff got nothing but trash. They literally shitting on the streets. That's the thing, right? And like I said, I take shit with a grain of salt, because sometimes every once in a blue moon, people like him or Crowder might make a point or something, right? But you got to take that shit with a grain of salt.
We got to be careful with that, though, brothers. Black people. That's how a lot of us ran into
that's what I'm saying.
Problems over the last 7 years.
You got to take that shit with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? You got to take each one case by case. But you got people that just blindly take his talking points and his data and just run with that shit.
Right. Like me, I fell in that Candace Owens trap a couple of times, especially when she went down to Revolt. I got caught, but now I was like, after that George Floyd, Derek Chauvin live stream, I was like, you a wild motherfucker for that.
I was on Red Pill Black when she was Red Pill. She was based when she was Red Pill Black, though. You know what I mean? But then her true colors start coming out after that George Floyd stuff.
Yeah.
You know. Now the thing is she doing it for the bag?
No, she a
Or is that
griff.
what she really
No, she a full griff.
She full griff, right?
Yeah, because she got cussed out in her city's airport. She found out real quick that day she was a black woman.
She found out the world was correct, huh?
Yes, sir. Very correct. She was like, "Are you a black person? The world is correct."
Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I like to think I see shit at a 30,000 foot view because people like to believe that it's either one or the other. I'm like, yo, it's a lot of nuance with a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
But that takes critical thinking, which this man does not have.
Two things can be true at the same time, and people fail to realize and believe and believe that. You know, and I think that's where we go wrong with a lot of shit. Like, you're going to see a lot of Daryl Scotts popping up. They're gonna start bucking the narrative, right? They're gonna start speaking out. Wait. You know, like, what are you talking about? Come on, be real here. But you know what it is.
And report. Hello, which video are you looking for? Let me see. Just let me know which video you're looking for.
You know what I mean?
I think he's talking about the one that's on the screen.
Yeah, I think.
I'll put that in the chat. Yeah, we can put that in the chat. Yeah, we can do that.
But it's grifting season. Everybody on their grift right now.
Yeah.
Oh, the griff is beautiful. Because Trump coming back. Wait till he goes back on Twitter. Oh Lord. I'm gonna get 55 notifications of people say breaking news, Trump is back on Twitter. And what he said.
And I'm gonna be there for that grift. I'm gonna be there for that grift.
Teach me how to grift.
Oh, you talking about the live stream she did? She took that shit down. You can find the articles about it though. The articles are all over the place. But yeah, she took that shit down because people were getting at her for that.
If it's one thing I learned from my conversation, if it's one thing I learned from my conversation with Hotep Jesus, it's respect the griff.
You gotta respect that griff.
Respect the griff.
Matter of fact, I started seeing Daryl Scott changing his tone when he did his interview with Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus might talk to him. He might be like them boys in the 70s when he took the drug dealers off the street.
Man, Hotep Jesus is a brilliant interviewer.
Oh, you want the one that Candace getting cussed out? Oh, okay. It's actually on. Let me go a little forward on Twitter, but let's go back to this video while I go get it. Hold on.
There's a real difference between a settler and an immigrant. I put it this way: the settler is the guy who shows up and builds the country. He's the first guy to actually create the recipe for a society. Now, if it happens to be a good society, good recipe, good society, then immigrants will leave their own country and move voluntarily to the better country that the settlers have created. In other words, immigrants move to already existing established societies because they like the way that society is run or organized. But who organized it? Not the immigrant, the settler. And this is why the countless immigrants
can we stop for a second?
All of us owe a great...
Okay, so when they moved to the United States, at first they were doing things like contracts and treaties, which were not something that they brought over from Europe. That's something that was a part of how the individual tribes ran things here. So they came here and were doing business the way that the people here were doing business. They were just swindlers and had guns. They adopted to the agriculture. They came to an existing established society already.
And if we really want to get down to it, you ever read the book They Came from Africa?
No,
Where Christopher Columbus' son's journal even said it was Africans already in America before they even got here.
I've heard that though.
He said they were as dark as the Africans. We were already here. We had already circumnavigated. We had already.
When was the coronation again?
The coronation? You talking which one?
King Charles. When was that?
That was like 3 weeks ago, wasn't it? Like 3 Saturdays ago.
Okay, so Saturday's date was what? The 27th? So it was the 6th, right?
It was like the 4th.
It was like May 6th, right?
It was like the 6th. Yeah, it was the 6th.
All right. Yeah. So I'm trying to find this video. I don't know if she took it down. I hope she didn't. But go ahead, y'all keep talking.
But yeah, so it's like that's another thing where people they negate, they push a lot of shit out of history. Like, yo, they even said it in the journals that Africans was already here. They'd already started trading and everything with the natives that were here as well. So Dinesh, if you really want to go into it, you want to say it was the settlers. Who was the real settlers, Dinesh? Who were the first settlers of America besides the Native Americans? We're gonna say it was Africans. Go look at the Olmec statues down in South America. They look like me.
Yeah, they do.
With fucking space helmets or whatever the fuck they had on their head, but they look like me. Christopher Columbus, they stumbled here, thought this shit was his country. They thought this shit was India. And that's what happened.
Well, and then there's the whole Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. What else was going on in 1492? So there was a lot of people.
All right, so I just put the video link in the chat. The one that says t.co. That's the link. It's like 14 minutes in, I think. But yeah, she found out that day she was a black woman.
What was going on in 1492?
That's when I said like 14 minutes in.
No. I'm talking about when Columbus was sailing the ocean blue in 1492. What happened?
Shit. Didn't he fail?
Why were certain groups of people sailing the ocean in 1492? Two groups of people got kicked out of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
One of them you're allowed to mention, the other you're not.
Yeah. I'd do it. I don't care. And they got to pay off too.
Yeah.
But they not ready for that conversation.
Right,
oh, by the way, Dinesh, I seem to remember it was one of them people, the lawyer for the prosecution that got you locked up. But all right, we not gonna talk about that today. Maybe one day. What else you got for me? Since you don't know what a settler and an immigrant, you don't know.
And it's people like him that won't push King Randall. They talk about this low IQ and all this shit, but then they won't get behind King Randall.
Fact.
Right.
But that he's running a low IQ school, according to him.
You know,
my question is, what is the expectation of what to do with these quote unquote low IQ people? Everybody that he qualifies as low IQ, right? And I'm not trying to be funny, but he looks like if he had a child, it might not come out, you know what I'm saying, with a full functioning brainstem. So including like anybody like that, right? What do we do with those people? What's his aside from posting things on Twitter?
Right. Hopefully he ain't trying to do what old Dolph trying to do or tried to do.
And my question is his solution of what should quote unquote be done with the alleged groups of people that have a low IQ? Is that what all conservatives are behind?
Bro, it gets
low
worse.
Wage workers. That's what they trying. Well, low wage workers. That's what they want.
Bro, it gets worse. I gotta finish the video before I show y'all this. It gets worse.
Debt to the pilgrims and to the original settlers, they are the ones more than anyone else, more than the immigrants, more than the slaves. They are the ones who really built America. Now,
lying bastard.
Once I establish propositions that are hard to argue against, I get quibbles. And here's a quibble that comes from somebody on social media. Hey, Dinesh, care to weigh in on the assertion that European settlers weren't immigrants? I'm sure lots of First Nation leaders, meaning Native Americans, would have a different interpretation of history. And here I make the point that being here first doesn't mean anything. I mean, does the first Bedouin who arrives at an oasis own the oasis? No. European settlers are the ones who developed this country. They built towns and cities. They established the nation on a political and economic foundation. They created this widespread opportunity and this widespread prosperity. I think I speak for immigrants here. We didn't come to the America the Native Americans created. If the Native Americans had continued to run the show, I would still be back in India. The reason that immigrants like me came to America is to be part of the country that the original settlers created here. That's the America that we're grateful for.
Bullshit.
That's not true, because the country that he's from is probably in similar state to what was going on with the native indigenous people here. Actually, the native indigenous people here probably had a better society than what's going on currently in his country. And there's still, I think India still has the 4th largest population in the world. So that's not true. People will still live in squalor if they have to.
Mm-hmm. Hey, here we go.
Get that water. He about to get this work. He about to get this work.
This man can never tell me nothing again in life. You can't tell me nothing again in life. This is who you porked. You can't tell me nothing in life.
I don't know, yo. I might have busted Ann Coulter though, just off of general.
No, man, no. I'm finna kick you off. No,
my milk of magnesia. Oh, after the devil made you, he broke the mold.
Oh, I don't want to see that, man. No. I will block you from my channel. Don't do it.
I'm just fucking with you. I just had to throw that out.
Please, nah, we not doing. Nah.
What the hell?
What the hell? What the?
Nah. We not doing that today. No, you fuck around. You fuck around and end up like Jimmy Walker. No, I don't want to see Jimmy Walker in around fucking Baltimore. Don't do it, brother.
Candace said he's taking one for the griff, man. That's all.
I hit her off.
Listen, I'd have rather you said Candace Owens.
She might think she Rachel Dolezal. She up there wearing leggings and
Bruh.
My man Cannon said he taking one for the griff.
You can't talk to us.
He said he taking one for the griff. He trying to be the inside man for
listen,
real.
Even Hotep Jesus wouldn't even do this. Even though he did talk to Megyn Kelly, he wouldn't even do this.
Yeah, all right. Yo, I'm just gonna do what he said in the movie. What he said in the movie. I'm just doing what they did. That's the 400 years.
Fact.
Fucking.
Hell no, bruh. Carlton Way, you wrong for that. She do not look like Celine Dion. Don't do that.
Do a little bit, bro. She kind of do a little bit. He got a point in that picture. The picture
Bruh,
you got up, she kind
of. The only thing I ever respected out of this cunt was she said that civil rights are for black folks. That's the only thing I ever respected her saying.
Do you remember the episode on Boondocks where she was on there?
Yeah.
And she was fucking with the black dude.
And everybody gave her a pass.
Boondocks used to tell the goddamn. Boondocks was telling the future, bro.
Yeah, that was Black People Simpsons.
Yeah, that shit really was real talk.
Look at it, sir. But again, back to you, Dinesh. You can't talk to us, bro. You can't talk to us.
What you expect?
I didn't expect Lauren Ingram to take it.
Shit, I do.
Shh, Dinesh.
A lot of times people be messing around with people that look the exact same, and you know what I'm saying. Like Laura Ingram kind of looks like
he married a blonde woman.
They both look, but they both look like if they was alone with an attractive black man, 9 times out of 10.
Wait a minute.
They going back. They going back to the room.
Wait a minute. He knew Laura Ingram since college. Say less.
Well,
I bet you.
I didn't know it since the agency.
We got to find the tape. It's probably the tape is probably called the Ingram Angle. Oh,
I'm not even looking for that.
They might have known each other since the agency.
Nah, I mean that's who he's married to now. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. Ain't no hate. You don't hate on wives over here. Do your thing. If you happy, you happy. That's cool.
You got to watch people that wear the sleeves on those suit jackets down far like that. You know what I'm saying? That's suspect. That's really suspect. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this man can't talk to us no more about no low IQ. He can't. He can't. You pork Laura Ingram, sir.
Oh my God.
By the way, remember what I said about Candace Owens in the airport?
If a bag coming with it. I don't know if a bag coming with it, yo.
What bag? She about to get kicked off soon too.
Hey,
them bags under her eyes.
What 50 say? Hit the back shots, knock the money out of her.
And 50 said, "Have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire."
Yeah, but check this out. Remember what I said about Candace Owens in the airport?
Yeah.
The white woman responded.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
She said, when you're banned from the Nashville airport and Candace Owens recorded your mentee B and hallucinations while trying to fist fight 12. All right, white woman, go ahead. What you got?
Bingo, you get to go to the airport tomorrow. Airport? I'm not going to the airport. Yeah. Bingo, you get.
That's it. You didn't.
She gonna get 1 million subscribers on TikTok for that stupid nonsense.
You want to find out? Let's find out.
How many she got?
We about to find out. What's her name? Ruby with 2 Y's, Peaches 2.0. So it sounds like if it's a 2.0, it sounds like she got kicked off.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of time for the grift start switching, yo. A lot of these people that's towing this line is going to be popular to buck the narrative, and they're going to start doing it too.
Wow, they kicked her account off.
What you mean by that, Cannon?
Like you're going to see Candace Owens start to make a heel turn. Watch. You're going to watch it.
You think she's going to turn heel? I don't see it.
And it's not going to be a genuine heel turn. She's going to turn heel, and it's going to be because she told to. Daily Wire going to tell her she got to make that heel turn.
To what direction?
I think she's gonna make a heel turn in the direction back toward Trump.
Oh, okay.
But Trump already told her what time it was with him.
Right.
They're not gonna agree on the Bell Biv DeVoe on the they don't agree.
So did Ye. Ye kind of disowned her in the beginning, and the next thing you know, where she at? She's next to him with that.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Trump though. She embarrassed her. He embarrassed her on film. She ain't recovered from that.
I think she still make
after that. Then the Crowder thing. She cussing on film. She don't never cuss on film.
I think she still made the heel turn, even if she don't directly say for Trump. It's going to be anti-DeSantis, anti-Vivek, which would be inadvertently pro-Trump.
Let's find out. Let me see what she said about DeSantis. See what she said. Oh, she said something about DeSantis. Okay, let's see. Hey, come here, man. We want to hear this.
Shout out to her with that rotten tooth yellow outfit on.
That's not the first time she's worn this though. But let's see what she said. Fair use, motherfucker. You.
With Ron DeSantis, there's a lot going on there. Finally, the gaslighting is over, and this is what has very much annoyed me about him. Is that he's basically been running for president. He's been visiting a bunch of states. He's been overseas on tour while gaslighting the press, just saying, oh, no, that's my book I'm doing. And this is what governors always do. I'm negotiating deals overseas to help the state of Florida. All of this is absolutely BS. You don't take your entire family plus your kids to negotiate deals overseas. He was doing all of the footwork leading up for him launching his presidential bid. And I just don't like this honesty. I would have rather him not answer the question and said, more will come out, teased it, but pretending that we're all stupid and we don't know you're running for president just annoys me. Now, yesterday, finally, as I said, gaslighting ended when Casey DeSantis tweeted out this campaign video of Ron DeSantis. Take a listen.
They call it faith because in the face of darkness.
Belongs to the donor class, and I don't class.
I don't care. I don't care.
Let's be clear. Great video. Just an objectively great video. And she wrote along with it the caption, America has been worth it every single time. Gets you hyped. It feels good. Doesn't make me trust DeSantis anymore. To me, he just feels like he belongs to the donor class. And I don't implicitly trust the donor class to, I guess, have what the majority of us have at our hearts and the same values that we have at our hearts. I think it becomes a lot about establishing connections and getting done the things that they want done overseas. And this is kind of what creates what really is the uniparty, right? This is the things that the Democrats, Republicans have in party are the donor class, who are really after just protecting their donor interests. Now, what I will say very much in defense of DeSantis, who, by the way, he's going to be hosting an event with Elon Musk tonight on Twitter Spaces, which is the site's platform for audio chats at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be moderated by David Sachs, who is a tech entrepreneur, again, donor class. He's also a Musk confidant and a DeSantis supporter. And this is going to be obviously DeSantis announcing that he's running with the full fire of Elon Musk behind him, who is somebody that we all like very much, obviously, because...
You speak for yourself.
I still don't know if Elon Musk motherfucker Lex Luthor or if he fucking Bruce Wayne. I stand by that. He Victor Von Doom, or is he Mr. Fantastic?
Who?
Musk. He you can never tell with him sometimes. Like, is he Victor Von Doom or is he Tony Stark?
I think he's MODOK.
You said you think he MODOK. I think he's Sabretooth.
Sabretooth was cool in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, though. But let me see what.
But that's what I was. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, she a part of it too. It's all WWE, bro. It's all WWE.
Facts.
That's just my opinion. I think what's going to happen.
They take their title first. They're not taking the white people title first. And that's what I was trying to tell black conservatives. Get away from them. Y'all got to balance y'all message. Y'all keep parroting white people. It don't end well because you can't. When the tide turns, like it did with Trump losing, y'all can't go over there now. Because again, white conservatives and white liberals are the same. It just depends on the issue. That's true. They'll knock who's in the White House and the other side will defend them. But when it comes to us, they all united.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna turn on you, bruh. And they turned on her. Even her boss didn't even come out and defend her. And she still didn't see it.
I'm telling you, bro, what's going to happen. This is what I think.
She needs to leave. If she wants to complete her heel turn, she's got to leave the Daily Wire and be independent.
She not leaving. She can do whatever Big Boss Ben tell her to do.
But my thing is, she was getting thousands of people in her lives. She should have made her career YouTube.
But what's that bag looking like from Big Boss Ben? At this point, she's not doing this.
But I don't think the return is great, though. The return is not great.
But
it's up to Ben Shapiro spending some money.
But think of it like this, though, bro. When she first signed that deal, she had a studio audience. Where's this studio audience now?
Oh yeah, that's gone.
Thank you. Past Coffee Venereal is gone. So where you gonna get that money from? She don't even have guests on anymore. She has on once in a while. She used to have on guests like every other episode. Where they at?
Ben said we cutting that shit short.
Shit.
She about to be the conservative Tiffany Cross. Watch.
Facts.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. This is what I think gonna happen. They're gonna you gotta have debates with Trump and DeSantis, right? That's what's gonna draw. That's gonna get people engaged. Then what's gonna happen is Trump's gonna win that. And then him and DeSantis are gonna fucking lock fists like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is gonna be
like HUD secretary or some shit.
No, DeSantis, I think he might be the vice.
No. Trump, if Trump does that, he lost.
You think so?
He lost.
You think so?
Yes, he lost. He can't bring DeSantis.
You don't think Trump?
Dude, that's going to be House of Cards. You don't need that.
You don't think Trump and DeSantis could be the Biden-Harris presidency?
No.
I don't know.
That's House of Cards, bro. It's not going to work.
I don't know.
It's not going to work. I'm telling you.
At first, I'm like, all right, if he grabbed Tim Scott up, maybe.
Tim Scott is even worse. We're not jumping for Tim Scott, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you.
We're not jumping for that man.
It's and that's not saying we jumping for that man, but majority of the GOP.
They're not gonna jump for DeSantis and Trump, bro. They're gonna wait. They're gonna be sitting up there making think pieces, waiting for them to implode on each other, or you hear a fist fight in the Oval Office.
Again, I think it's WWE. I think
he got to bring a woman with him. I think he got to bring a woman with him.
You think so? What are you thinking? Like
it's got to be Kristi Noem. That's it.
You think Kristi Noem?
Yeah, it's got to be her. That's the only one that can bite back on Kamala and get away with it.
What about Tulsi? Tulsi
ain't gonna run. She would be perfect, but she's not. She said she's out of politics. She's gonna do her podcasting and stay in Hawaii. She cool. She's retired.
So you think Kristi Noem? Kristi Noem, isn't she? No, that's not her. She's not the one that's Indian American too.
No, that's Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley don't have a shot in hell.
Nikki Haley
don't have a shot in hell. No, Kristi Noem can go off the fact that number one, she white. Number two, her state didn't shut down. Number three, she pro 2A, and she's about closing the border. He can run with that. He pick anybody else, he might as well pack it up. He ain't gonna win.
You think Carrie Lake no too?
No. She with that Arizona shit, she's too toxic. She got to sit down for 2 years. She's better off going into Congress.
This is what I thought should have happened. I thought DeSantis should have fell back till 2028.
There's a lot of people that said that. I don't think that would have been a bad strategy for him. I think the money actually got him kind of gassed up because he's
going to leave Florida in shambles now.
He got a lot of he got a lot of campaign money, and
he might lose. Yeah, he might lose the Florida. He might lose the Florida vote simply because he abandoned him.
Yeah. Yep.
They're just looking for a reason to say that the Republicans lost Florida.
Yeah. What do you think will happen on this this boycott Florida bullshit that's coming up tomorrow or Thursday?
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Not a goddamn
motherfucker going right to the beach. They going right to the beach July 4th weekend. Ain't nobody scared of Florida. Come on now.
What's going on with the boycott Florida thing? You talking about that NAACP thing?
Yeah, ain't nobody listening to them.
They talking about June 1st. They talking about all the
black people shouldn't go to Florida.
Black people shouldn't go to Florida. And Spanish people should
leave.
Stay home.
Yeah, stay home. Don't go to work.
Why should Spanish people do anything?
Because of the E-Verify thing.
Well, tell me about it. What's going on with the E-Verify thing?
That he implemented E-Verify, so all them illegals that were working on like construction sites and in the fields, they couldn't work, so they stopped working. So they thought the goddamn state was gonna stop. I ain't hear Florida stop yet.
Nope. And the funny
and then since the conservatives couldn't use that talking point, then the next thing is, oh well, black people ain't going for them jobs. I'm like, them motherfuckers don't want to pay us. Ain't nobody finna go outside and pick no lettuce for $3 an hour.
Right.
And I'm not shitting in a bucket outside in 96-degree weather for $3 an hour. You finna pay me the minimum wage, if anything.
Right.
And again, every time one of them conservatives bring it up, I bring up what happened in Clover Hill Bakery in Chicago, and I also brought up what happened in Mississippi when they did them raids. Black folks were in there with them jobs. Cloverfield had record profit, so much so that Hostess came and said, all right, we buying you out.
I remember that shit. Them niggas went and got them jobs quick.
Exactly. And the woman that they interviewed, she became the manager. And she was sitting there working 16 hours a day.
But I was telling him, like, first off, y'all underestimate the amount of conservative Cubans and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans in Florida.
Oh
who
yeah,
you think got him? Who you think got him? Who you think got him elected? They don't like the illegal shit either.
Exactly. They get here and they're like, nah, man, we need this shit regulated.
Right.
Because when they fuck around, we gonna get the hit.
Exactly. So
and don't let them Cubans find out that hey, Havana might be talking about, hey, y'all come back home, let's build this up. They'll go run right to Havana and make that the international business up and leave Miami in shambles.
Bro.
With the quickness.
Bro. All I'm saying is this. Matter of fact, all I'm saying is this. Look, it's grifting season.
It's grifting season. Yeah, we had cuffing season. Now it's grifting season. The summer of the grift. Summer of the grift.
But to sit here and think that because y'all sit home for, if y'all really trying to make them like Montgomery bus boycott, how long they going for? Like a year?
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna boycott something, you got to do that shit for real. That's how you know ain't shit gonna happen.
Yeah, they trying to boycott Chick-fil-A now.
Yeah, I seen that.
They've been kind of doing that. They've been kind of doing that for a minute. That little Chick-fil-A struggle.
Yeah, no, but they're trying to highlight it now. And I'm like, the last time y'all boycotted, that man became a multi-millionaire and he got to expand his business.
I'm still going to get my watermelon mint, goddammit.
Look, hey, them chicken nuggets though.
I can't spend that no more. They charge too much. I can't do it no more.
I'm gonna get my watermelon mint in a half and half. Well, what they call it, a Sunjoy. We call it half and half.
Sunjoy, yeah. But that's them, bro. But the overall theme is this: Black conservatives. Now y'all understand what we've been telling you for years. It's okay to be a Black conservative. We don't knock you for that. It's okay. Exactly. We understand. We're socially conservative as a people. We get that. But when you start parenting white folk, that's when we got a problem with you.
Stop being so gullible.
Y'all, right, because y'all don't believe what you say. Because hell, Darrell Scott figured it out the hard way. As soon as Trump lost, all his engagement went away. Imagine what you could have done with, let's say, around when Trump lost, you had what, 160,000 people on Twitter. Imagine what you could have done.
Right.
With the pro-Black message. Imagine.
Yeah, and they ain't down. They don't want no pro-Black message. That's not what they down. That's not what they here for. Sonny Johnson say it all the time. Another voice that should be bigger than it is. You know what I mean? They don't want.
She call out everybody. That's why they don't like her. She call out everybody.
She don't. Yeah, she calling everybody out. But that's what you want. You want somebody gonna call everybody out on their BS. Keep people honest. You know what I mean?
As long as they're white.
Right.
As long as they're white.
What did you think about the Matt Walsh versus Maz Teray situation? Did you happen to catch any of that?
Son, I actually wanted to do a video on it.
Yeah, the tweets.
Yeah. Oh man.
We could talk about that real fast before I go. We could talk about that real fast. Bro, Matt Walsh is crashing out, bro. I like it though. I like it though. I want him to cry. I want him to say it out loud, bro. Just say the N-word. Just say it one time. Wait, where is it?
But yeah, I mean, Marge, and especially in the two-way field, he a fucking titan. You know what I mean? You know, it's not too many people that can run with him, you know, or can debate him. It's not too many people that's going to debate Coleon. Shit, if they gave me a chance, I'll fucking walk circles around them.
Right.
You know, I know that my content ain't 2A. You know, I'm definitely 2A advocate, and I probably should start gearing my content more toward 2A. You know, but a lot of these mouthpieces out here, they're not ready for that real talk, especially from people that live that life.
Right.
I can't find them.
Most of these
was that on his old page?
Who Marge's old page? It might have been. I think they were
that's why I can't
Marge
find
got
it.
Put out.
Yeah, that's why I can't find it. Damn.
They don't want to talk to people that live that life. Who be in the trenches.
You know what's funny? Why don't y'all invite Dinesh down to the next Hotep conference?
Man, I don't know. I know we got Lawrence B. Jones coming.
That's a good get. I like that. Bring that brother over there because you know it didn't work out over there.
Lawrence B. Jones, he Hotep adjacent. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I remember like when I first heard it, he was the one that narrated moderated that epic Brandon Tatum Hotep Jesus debate.
Oh wait,
about Ahmaud Arbery.
You talking about this?
When I see you, nigga, it's gonna be on. I want you to know that. Because you call me on the phone and you saying all this, and then you get on the live stream and you playing this shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. Is
that black on black crowd?
Hotel Jesus crazy.
But
my God, no.
But Brandon Tatum was tripping the whole way. Like that's when I lost. Like you know how, like with Candace, it was the George Floyd thing for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
With the Ahmaud Arbery thing, that was the last straw for me with Brandon Tatum. You know what I mean? And when they did that, I was like, "Come on, yo, how you going?" And he was like, his argument was ridiculous the whole way through. Yeah. He was capping for the McMichaels the whole time, even up until they got convicted.
What about, how does he feel about Jackie Johnson, the DA, and that entire situation there? Because there was a whole side story with Jackie Johnson being a former supervisor of the McMichaels family that
really
kind of went under the radar.
Yeah. You're right. I remember that. No, that shit got swept under quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think we might have found it.
Because Jackie Johnson, the reason why the McMichaels walked the first time before it made national news.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Let's see what douchebag Walsh said.
It was horrible, Nazi-esque. It was racist, white supremacist, to even hint that there might be more to the slavery issue than the white enslavement of black Africans in the West from the 17th to 19th centuries. As mentioned on the show on Monday, the critics were mostly on the left, but not solely. Maj Touré, who's a well-known gun rights activist, was quite vigorous and relentless in his criticism. He said that my statements about slavery were dumb, reductive, counterproductive, horrible, retarded, his word, and many other things. He said that I was damaging the inroads that conservatives had made with the black community. And he continued in this vein in many tweets and videos railing against me for mentioning that white people were slaves. So finally on Monday, he appeared on my friend Jason Whitlock's show on The Blaze to further explain his point of view.
I got a black friend.
So what Matt Walsh is saying here is that people are denying white slavery. People are denying Christian slavery. Does he actually know the history of white slavery and Christian slavery? I think he'd be surprised to know that whites sold whites into slavery.
No, they use that now to say that y'all shouldn't get reparations because everybody was a slave.
Well, who is involved in the white slavery that is still even a country or an actual entity where people are, doing commerce or business at today? You know what I'm saying? Like the United States is still here today. Mm-hmm. United States, like these laws that took place here in the United States, the country, the establishment of the United States is still around. None of those entities that were involved in white slavery are still around other than the British royal family.
Mm-hmm. If they only knew who was selling them. But you're right.
I encourage people to go read that book, The Renegade History of the United States by Thaddeus Russell. I think a lot of people be surprised what they find out in that book.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But back to old Matt Mac.
Watch the segment, and I have to tell you that after listening to him, if anything, I understand his criticisms less than I did before. So let's go through this together.
First, I did like What is a Woman. I think Matt is usually spot on certain things. It's similar to a lot of conservatives. I'm very critical. It's almost like if we're going into the tactic room, right? What does this actually prove? I just did an interview, and we discussed. A guy said, "Well, what would be wrong with All Lives Matter?" And I'm like, "Well, there's nothing technically wrong with it. If you thought that, you should have said it before BLM said Black Lives Matter. It's just what it is." And everybody knows I don't really bang with BLM as an organization, but the phrase and the reductive component.
Well, this is perhaps beside the point, but for the record, lots of us were saying All Lives Matter before BLM came along. That was and still is the central motto of the.
It's not what he said. I tell you, they dumb. I told you conservatives are dumb. I told. Conservatives are dumb.
See, and this is what I'm saying. Here's my question, right? Any of these kind of people, why don't they ever take the StreamYard link? Like Matt Walsh could come and take the StreamYard link. Matt Walsh is
a pussy because he
right
gets
now
to sit in his studio and talk like this.
Somebody
pulled up on him live and he was stuttering.
He read from his prompter right now. Right? It's easy to dunk on the trans and all that other stuff, right?
He won't go outside.
Issues, right? When it comes to issues of this, like he got a teleprompter in front of him. He probably did 10 takes before he said this. You know what I mean? But an impromptu, with Maj, you wouldn't take it because Maj like, all right, let's debate.
Right.
He didn't take it.
Yeah, he won't.
Why not? if Marge is being so intellectually lazy, why not take that? Why not take that?
Exactly. These people claim to want inroads, right? But it's proof right here that these people do not want inroads. What these people want is a bunch of cheerleaders, and nobody's going to be these people's cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You see the thumbnail on the side, what it say, truth versus empathy? Why can't you have both? Why can't you have both?
Here's my thing
about empathy, though.
I think that the conversation needs to start happening about people like Matt Walsh and others not being capable of having empathy, not being biologically or psychologically capable of having empathy, and us needing to arm ourselves in order to deal with the threat of having to share a planet with people like that.
Torian, what's up?
I could spit a fact and still have empathy for you. You know what I mean?
I didn't mean to come in this late, but Matt Walsh is on the radar.
Shout out to Torian. What's good, bro?
Oh, my bad. What's going on, y'all? Whenever I put someone on the radar, that means I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on you on every move that you make. I just put Rachel Campos Duffy on my radar, or whatever her last name is, on my radar last week. To have to go in on her twice in a month, that means you on the radar. But Matt is definitely on the radar. Keep in mind, it's the same guy that put out a tweet last week saying that Karen is a racial slur. I cannot take you seriously.
Bruh,
I cannot take you seriously.
I meant to make a video on that shit. I meant to make a video. I just ain't never get around to it. That shit was like, come on, bro. That we really doing right now?
He don't care. You got to remember, these are the same folk who gave 2 white people $1.5 million before the truth even came out.
I got aunts named Karen and shit. And they thinking they afraid to have their own names called.
Fact. Exactly. Do you remember that report they had that they said, hey, women are changing their name from Karen?
What happened to the good old fashioned British word C word? What happened to that? Why can't we just use that?
Oh, women got offended.
Mainly white women.
Mainly white women.
But Karen is okay.
Karen's okay. Look at.
I'm still laughing, Rob. I'm still laughing at that article. I had to go find that article to put into that video when talking about Matt Walsh. I could not contain my laughter just in the first paragraph alone, and then we start reading more into it. But then when Marjorie Taylor Greene said what she said, and she's another one on the radar too, about how she has nightmares about being called Karen. I'm like, lady, shut up.
She shouldn't be called Karen, man. I bet you some of those guys that she was messing around with while she was married was hitting it, calling her Karen. She needs to stop.
Yeah.
It's like
stop. Like, stop. Girl, bye.
That's like a black dude telling a white girl call me the N-word in the bed.
That's crazy, man. These people nuts, man. Where that sound bite at, Kid Gravity? Them white folk them love they man. You know
I got it right here. I got it loaded up.
And folk, them white people lost their mind.
They just be saying anything. But let me see what else he said.
Pro-life movement. We didn't steal it from them. They stole it from us. We didn't start saying all lives matter when BLM came along. We kept saying it. We were told, though, that we had to stop saying.
What?
When did hold on?
What?
When did all no?
I love it.
This is that revisionist history right there.
You like it? I love it.
When did all lives matter? That thing kicked into divert when they started saying Black Lives Matter. We all weren't there back when they started saying it back in 2012. Are you kidding me?
This is them rechanging history. They're doing the same thing they accuse liberals of doing, trying to change history.
Yeah. They believe their own lies. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, this is
I don't even know if they believe
that's where they
it.
got copium from.
They just
and then they even doubled down on it and extended a branch from All Lives Matter and then said, let's call it Blue Lives Matter.
Right.
They good at diverting.
Oh man, this is.
I'm literally looking at an article right now on Google that you could just go and type in, and it says "All Lives Matter" rose as a hashtag and slogan to undermine the Black Lives Matter movement in 2014. It does not exist as a formal group or a network.
Right.
A simple Google search.
They don't Google, but you gotta remember, conservatives don't do research.
I'm gonna go as far as to say this: Do I agree with the All Lives Matter moniker? Of course I do. But do I also agree with Black Lives Matter? Of course I do. But am I going to sit here and be disingenuous and say that y'all didn't start All Lives Matter as a rebuttal to the Black Lives Matter? Of course you did. But he's sitting here being disingenuous about it. That was started in direct opposition to Black Lives Matter. Period.
And it was mainly white people that was screaming it out the most. And we know why they did it, because they wanted to be the center of attention. Then that's when they started to, because at that time, that's when it was a lot of ramping up of, well, in the news anyway, in social media, about Black people being killed unjustly, whether it was by cops or otherwise. But then when they saw all the focus was coming onto Black people, and they come and having to jump in, like they hijacked the word woke, like they hijack and colonize everything else, and say, well, white people are being killed unjustly too. Well, in that case, why aren't you talking about it? How come whenever white people get killed, we some of the first ones over here to talk about it, and y'all don't catch on to much later? Or when you do, you use the same talking points that you use on us on them. Oh, well, they should have complied. They shouldn't have did this. They shouldn't have y'all. That's why I keep telling Black people. Y'all claim that white people get on code so much. I'm telling you, their code is fractured. They don't care about themselves any more than they claim they do. They only do that or say that because they have to push back against us.
That's big.
To be honest,
it's a defense mechanism from being called racist.
To be honest, when that, I forgot that guy's name, Kid Gravity, maybe you can help me out because I think you talked about it. I think Rob, you talked about it too. That because I think the Mason Lucas talked about him too. The white guy that got killed last year outside of his apartment in front of his girlfriend.
Oh, he had a mixed girlfriend or something like that. I think.
Yeah,
I know. I can't think
How
of his name.
How come the first people that I heard about that story from were other Black people? I didn't hear not one white media outlet talk about it. Matt Walsh, you didn't talk about it either.
Because it was the
All Lives Matter, right?
It's the biracials.
It's the same reason they don't talk about it when Black people cover Black people.
Thanks.
It don't fit the narrative.
They don't talk about
they
either.
You remember how they were trying to hide the duck sauce killer?
Yeah.
They did not want to report on the duck sauce killer. We were the only ones that were doing it.
You mean the one in California?
No, the one in New York, the one that was killing the Chinese food people.
Oh. Yeah. They thought they had a serial killer on their hands.
Right, and they tried to say it was us.
And
then they found out it was some crazy ass, one of them folks.
They don't like talking about familicide either.
Oh no!
I know that's your area expertise.
Oh, you already know that's the area expertise. Yeah. It's hard to survive the suburbs between the fathers
shout out
killing.
To PD. when the white boy did what he did down here in Atlanta, they thought it was us too.
Yeah, you talking about that mass shooting at AAPI?
Yeah.
But they got legislation and money.
Same thing down there in Texas when they found out it was Mauricio Garcia.
Yeah.
Now
there's no such. Now they don't want to talk about white supremacy.
Yeah, they say
he
was Mexican. So how could he be Mexican or white supremacy? We keep telling y'all.
It's going to yell La Raza.
I always tell people you do not have to be white to be a white supremacist. This
and now print articles about it.
I had pointed that out on HJ's channel. I was like, hey, yo, remember Hitler Youth was in Argentina too.
Man,
you know what I mean?
And his one of his top generals that created the what is that called? The Khashoggi theory or something? You know what I'm talking about? The Kalergi theory. Yeah, the guy that created the Kalergi theory was Japanese.
Look at this. There you go. Now they have to talk about it.
And there's plenty of sense.
That's their IQ. That's their IQ right there at work.
Because they're non-white white supremacists are white.
Thank you.
Like you had a whole leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Terrio.
Yeah, he identified.
He's one of those me no black people. You know what I'm saying?
He identified as Fed informant.
They couldn't Fed informant. That was his pronoun.
I literally just gave like 3 examples, like in one video where you had some of your anyone on this panel heard of Jack's Exterior?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was
Jack Texera.
Jack Texera.
Jack. I keep calling him Jack Texera, but Jack Texera, the one who leaked those Pentagon documents, and then it came out that he was trying to ignite a race war.
Facts.
That one I don't know anymore. I think that was a straight op.
Doesn't matter. It did its job.
Oh no, it definitely did its job. It definitely did its job. But that seemed too homegrown to me. You know, that seemed like from the back rooms. But yeah.
But now remember, they tried to hide that, said, oh, the FBI told everybody there's white supremacist groups in these cops. Everybody ignored it. Now it's coming out now. We told y'all there's white supremacy groups in this military. You heard it from black soldiers' faces and their mouths. There's white supremacist groups in the military. Y'all ignored it. Now you're starting to see them pop up now.
Facts.
But look here, the rise of the Latino white supremacists on the New Yorker.
I think they have an article in CNN, and it's called "White Supremacy with a Tan."
Yeah.
Oh wow.
How white supremacists respond when their DNA says they're not white. This is the stuff they're putting out, but it's in plain sight. But white supremacists don't have to be white.
Well, and another reason why they're
have
doing
they been
that,
watching? Have they been watching my videos?
They must have. They listen to us. You know what they? Come on, bro. We got to take this. They listen to us. They just can't admit it.
Now, see, if we say it right, they'll say that this is propaganda. We're bots and misinformation. But what it takes is that white purification. As soon as PBS says it, well, then it's legitimate information, despite the fact that we have archives of content going over this kind of stuff. And not only us, you know what I'm saying? Professor Black Truth, people like that, TD Hip Hop Media, Jason Black, you know what I'm saying? Phil Scott, like all of these people have all of these libraries of all of this information that's showing this, but it's not legitimate until NBC or CBS or CNN or PBS puts it out.
Yeah, right. But like, look, Cordell asked, would someone explain to me why black people are the most copied people on the planet, the most hated? Because we keep the axis of this earth rotating.
Well, and because it's the most easiest to copy us, and there's no consequence for hating us.
Exactly. We move the cultures forward. Any culture.
We the tastemakers.
Yeah. Bro, there's literally, and I said this a couple weeks ago, there's literally a black couple in Japan right now. They have the #1 soul food restaurant in Tokyo. So much so, they said, I think I read like 4 other soul food restaurants popped up to try to do what she's doing.
That's why we got to embrace the culture of villainy, if you ask me.
Yes, you got to embrace villainy. They had a whole Twitter debate for a month about the owner of a soul food restaurant in Paris. Come to find out, they weren't even from America, and the food is trash.
I bet it is, but them people from Paris don't know no better.
Bullshit. They got 3-star Michelin restaurants over there. They ain't going there.
I'm talking about as far as soul food.
Oh, they don't know shit about no soul food. What?
That's what I'm saying. They don't know.
This soul food is fucking foie gras.
They don't know no better. Like my homeboy, right? One of my subscribers, he invited me out to Cali to do a turkey hunt, right? So I'm out there, and he had created an entire seasoning line in Korea. Right? He said at the time, he's like, yo, Koreans don't use seasoning like that over there. He was trying to get something started over there.
They use the paste and all that. They use gochujang.
Yeah. Right. So he was trying to get the seasoning joint jumping, but he said it wasn't flying because they don't use that shit over there. You know what I mean? But like,
he needs a K-pop group to sponsor him.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said, shit.
What were you saying, Tori?
America. I said, bring that shit back to America. Throw that shit at a barbecue spot. See how that shit start jumping.
Yeah. What were you saying, Torian?
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Damn. Well, yeah, Matt Walsh. Yeah, you a special kind of retard. What else you got from me?
Because somehow left-wing black activists were the only ones allowed to decide and declare which lives mattered. But even if we had started saying it only after BLM was formed, so what? It's still true. And besides, this is meant to be a
wait a minute. What did he hold on? Did he just say?
Yes, he did.
Hold on. I gotta literally
I know you gotta
sped it up, but I know I just heard that.
Yeah, I'll play it again.
It's mattered. But even if we had started saying it only after BLM was formed, so what? It's still true. And
That
besides,
part.
this is meant to be a response and correct.
You just admitted that you lied. You just admitted you lied. He said in one breath that all lives matter came before BLM, and then in the next breath said, even if it did come after BLM, so what? I'm white and I say so.
The American racist.
That's it right there.
This is the American racist. They'll say something within 10 seconds on themselves.
This isn't a learned behavior. This is a natural, psychological, biological part
This is
of
nature.
how the neural activity in their brain works.
Nature that is nurtured.
Yeah.
Damn, you know what? I just realized I went back on Twitter and Darrell Scott wanted to pop on, and he said that an hour ago. Fuck.
Oh, damn.
I thought you hit
Why
it
you,
with,
you sent the link, right?
Yeah.
You should have just jumped in.
I sent him the link to the show.
Oh,
no,
he ain't even
StreamYard.
He should have said
No,
something
I
in the
just
comment section.
saw that. He was like, I'm here. I was like, damn, you should just came in the chat, bruh.
Right. That's what I'm like. What?
You should have just said something in the chat. I would have made you a mod and everything.
He followed you, right?
Yeah.
Send him the link in the
I did.
in the
I sent
DMs.
it. I did.
And listen, if he would have came, well, shoot, if he came on, I clearly wouldn't have came up.
Oh, you should have came up, Tory
You
and
still
Ray.
should have came up. Hey,
yeah, let's get it.
Hey, listen, that would be listen. I let anybody come up. Fuck it. I would have asked them first if you wanted to come up and talk to people. And let y'all go
Okay,
off.
I'm looking down. Them white folks down there having a good time in that water on them boats.
They lost their mind.
You know where they're gonna lose their mind on Lake Lanier? Come down here. We gonna count again like we did last year.
I was just watching.
And folk, them white people lost their mind.
I was just watching something on Lake Lanier. I forgot all about Lake Lanier until I seen
Lake Lanier, them documentaries they got on Lake Lanier on YouTube, man, that scared the hell out of me. I don't want to go.
I would like to go scuba diving down there.
That was actually one of my episodes for my Black Massacre series that actually touched on Lake Lanier when I had talked about one of the massacres in Georgia. I forgot which one it was. I want to think it was Fulton County.
That's
Then I heard
that's like the
some,
outskirts of
folklore.
Fulton County.
I heard it was some folklore, like if you camp near it, like kids was sleepwalking toward the water and some shit.
Yeah. People said they went swimming. White people said they went swimming and they felt hands dragging them down. They flooded out a whole fucking town. Shout out to Lake Lanier.
Oh, thank you, Cameron Jones. He corrected me. He said Oscarville.
Yeah, it's like right outside. It's like right outside. Yeah. But yeah.
Active to BLM militants who, in fact, as is obvious, do not believe that all lives matter. The BLM movement is a black supremacist movement, and that's why All Lives Matter was and still is a necessary rejoinder to it. By the way, Maj is the founder of an organization called Black Guns Matter. He sells T-shirts with the phrase on it. So, Maj, were you saying Black Guns Matter before Black Lives Matter came along? Something tells me that you weren't. Yet you can use the BLM slogan to sell shirts and advocate for gun rights, but we can't use it to advocate for the fundamental worth and value of human life in general? It's reductive for us to say all lives matter, but not for you to say Black guns matter? Interesting. Let's continue.
Because y'all did that as a grift. Y'all did that because you saw how much money BLM was making off their merch and their message, and you wanted to get in on it.
Where's the BLM activist?
Divert, if anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's the BLM activist that said that nobody else's lives matter? I thought the phrase actually started off hashtag Black Lives Matter 2, and somehow the 2 fell off. 2 implies also, which means additions to everybody else.
The T fell off when Soros got to it.
Right. Which he's a white guy last time I checked.
Right. They don't know.
I spoke about that too.
Let me be clear.
Devil Sponge Bowl.
Yeah.
Here.
Fat
if
lock.
we're trying to make inroads into black communities, these types of takes that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, well, I gotta stop you there again very briefly.
You played 3 seconds. You're about to do a whole dissertation on 3 seconds. He didn't even say nothing.
He doing his reactions like I do mine.
Right.
3 seconds. Wait a minute. I didn't even know what he said. Wait, I'm gonna play it again. I don't even know what he said. Let me listen.
And let me be clear. If we're trying to make inroads into black communities, these types of takes that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, well, I gotta stop you.
What? That wasn't even a full thought.
That was a phrase. What are you talking about?
Now, Robbie, you have to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You don't stop it that soon. You allow them to say a little bit of something to make get some context behind it before
what was the
you jump back
context?
in with your opinion or your thought. This guy barely said anything. It wasn't even a complete thought.
Oh my God, I hate this white man. I do. And I don't like saying I hate white people. I'm indifferent on white people, but I hate this white man.
I told you, Matt Walsh is on the radar.
He gotta stick to his talking points. He gotta stick to his base. All that is. But yeah, come on. You gotta let him make the full point. He ain't even there to defend himself. You gonna stop it like that.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Like he didn't want to have to deal with any of that.
I can make some chicken nuggets, maybe.
Chick-fil-A. Somebody wants.
Yeah, my wife and daughter just came from seeing Little Mermaid.
Okay.
She said she wasn't scared.
I can't do it. I don't know why. I'm just not interested in Little Mermaid.
It's fine. It's not for us though, brother. It's for the women folk. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, like like I took my son and nephew to see Fast and the Furious.
Of course you did, as a well-respected black father should.
Did you see that? I think it was the New York Times said that in the Little Mermaid there wasn't enough kink.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I said. Yeah, there was a tweet. They said not enough kink. I was like, oh yeah, because all them dudes wanted to go in there to beat off to a 16-year-old redhead.
50 Shades.
They be telling on themselves.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, it's funny too. Speaking of that, the amazing Lucas actually gave his like review of the Little Mermaid, and he had pointed something out in the original that I didn't even peep until he broke it down. Because when you're a kid, you don't see certain things, but when you're an adult, you see it through a different lens. And he was saying how in the original, she's 16 and she wants to go above land to live life with an adult.
Right.
Like literally, I said, It's in the thing as a kid, you don't see that, and we all know how the movie ends. She ends up marrying this adult, and it's like, okay, so did Disney just promote a whole movie about that P word?
Man, they've been.
He said he was in here. I didn't even see him.
He said he's in here. Yo,
he said he was in here. I figured he would use his name. He said he was in here. I didn't even see him.
He probably got a lot of people.
He probably got a burner account.
They got their lurker account.
He probably got one of them accounts that's like A345 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's Cordell Lewis. I don't know.
Right.
I don't even see it, but I told him we still on, so you can still come up, but it is what it is. But yeah, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say.
Oh, Matt Walsh. Matt Washed. That's his new name, Matt Washed.
Matt Washed.
He says my take had nothing to do with anything. Well, that's not true. I mean, it had something to do with history, with truth, with the facts of the world that shaped human civilization. It had something to do with the racial grievance industry, which trades on the idea that slavery in America was a unique and unprecedented evil, when in fact it was not. It was an evil, but not unique or unprecedented. It had something to do with lots of different things. It had something to do with a book that I read and I wanted to talk about. It had something to do with what happened to be on my mind at that moment. All of these are perfectly fine rationales for sharing my thoughts. The criticism that Maj is offering here is by far the most useless, boring, and exhausting form of criticism, and also perhaps the most common on the internet. That's why I find it so irritating. This is the, why are you talking about this? Why talk about this and not something else? I don't care about this. Why are you discussing it? It's that whole routine. It's a totally worthless critique. It really is. Just because you don't find a subject important or relevant or worthy of consideration doesn't mean that nobody should ever talk about it. I don't have to explain to you why I want to discuss something. I don't have to seek your permission ahead of time.
Sir, we don't care what y'all talk about. Just leave us out of it if we're not involved.
Exactly.
Well, that means that
that's why we went in on the shitza.
Right. And that means that we can talk about them. Like literally, we can say whatever we want to about you, regardless if it's based in fact or not.
Cordell Lewis is him
because he just said something that was
biblical. I think
not
that's him.
Based in fact.
No, I think that's Cordell. I think Cordell Lewis is this man. Hey, Pastor, don't hide yourself. Come on up.
That's hilarious. You think he'll be talking that Deuteronomy?
I don't care if he does. I don't care about talking about Christianity. I don't care.
Now I think if it was him, he would have said, "Hey, this is me."
Right.
I've never seen that name before. That's why I think it might be him.
Me.
Well, it is what it is. But listen, Matt, again, we don't care what y'all talk about. Just don't mention black folks. That's it. Y'all can talk about the economy. Don't mention that we have a $1.1 trillion spending power. Don't mention us.
That's why we had to go in on that uncooked chicken nugget, Natalie Beisner.
She's still talking about us, though.
I bet she is. I'm still stuck on that. Like I told so many people about that, and they was just busting out laughing. I said everything you said, and you mad because I called you a failed actress. That's what triggered you.
That's hilarious. I thought she had nerves and skin of steel.
The thing is that these like the Democrats dropped the ball so many times, the Republicans failed to fucking pick up the fucking fumble. Instead of picking up the fumble, they kicked the bitch out of bounds.
Well, I think that they're making a statement by doing that. They're making it very clear that they're accepting applications for, servants, and they're accepting applications for cheerleaders, but they're not accepting applications for anything else, which is cool because, we was unemployed when we was looking for that job. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? And I think that what people need to start doing is verbally say, we don't care what you accept versus what you don't.
Oh, I've already been there.
Yeah,
listen, listen, that is like the foundation of the Triple P series.
Fact.
I've already been there.
Who got the plane?
Oh, my bad.
That's all good, brother. I just want you back at the airport. You going back to
Dallas?
Dallas?
Listen, you know I'm near. I'm near the Air Force Base on one end, and on the other end is 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. So,
Tori be on his roof looking at Biden.
You out this way? You out here by me?
Yeah, I'm in PG County.
Oh, I'm here in Baltimore.
Okay. I kind of figured that you were because I heard you say two. And ooh, and I knew that's
true.
Not to mention, that's all a harbor place behind me right there.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
That's hilarious.
But let me tell y'all something. You Cannon and Tori, y'all Maryland girls, y'all, they accent got me in a chokehold, bro.
Word.
I love their accent. I don't know what it is, bro.
Well, hold on.
That two mixed with that southern?
Yeah,
I don't know. Lord have mercy.
Because the DMV accent is different from Baltimore. Like I used to troll Torian in his comment section before we even got to know each other. Like, bro, you be calling people Bamas, don't you? You know what I'm saying?
Not like I used to. Like back then.
Oh my God.
That's all. Listen, like back then when we was like in my high school days, like in the early 2000s, you always heard someone calling somebody a Bama.
Yeah, somebody was a Bama. Now they be like younger Mo.
Oh shit! Yeah. Here we go. Wait a minute, family. Wait a minute. Here we go.
Or Slim.
Pastor Doctor or Dr. Pastor. I don't know how you say it. How y'all say it?
What's going on, Pastor?
How you doing?
Pastor Scott.
Pastor Scott. How are you, sir?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah. Before we start, thank you for putting Dinesh in his place. I like that. I was laughing at your tweets all yesterday. I was like, this man hitting this man with facts that he just trying to explain. I don't understand.
Let me set this up better. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
I was on earlier.
Yeah, you were lurking.
Yeah, I was lurking.
Yeah.
Checking it out. See what's up.
Yes, sir.
Right, that better?
Yes, that's perfect. Hey, as long as we can hear you, it's all good. But go ahead, you tell your story. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna blow you up so you can tell the story. Let me see how I forgot how to do that though. No,
I think you click his face and hit solo.
Yeah, we do it like that. There you go.
Good,
so everybody see it.
I'm good. I don't need all that other stuff.
Nah, it's cool. I mean, we was talking about Matt Walsh, but he irrelevant right now.
Let me get the toothpick out of my mouth.
My man. All right, go ahead. Set it up how this exchange happened.
I mean, not really. I mean, I saw it like you saw it. I mean, man, hey man, who the hell you think you are saying some stuff like that? You just come right back out there and basically say blacks the dumbest people on earth, and I'm supposed to stand next to that stuff? Now, I don't know about anybody else. I don't know about anybody else that can just sit there and be associated with something like that, but I ain't the one. I can't do it. I can't hold my peace. I'm the Negro that got to speak up.
There's a lot of people that just sit there associated with it. A lot of them. And they even back it up and make videos to substantiate a lot of the nonsensical claims.
Let me tell you something, man. I don't care what public opinion says, what social media says. I was like that for 4 years in the White House. The entire Trump administration, I was a loud black dude up there that didn't mind speaking up and saying anything I wanted to say. And it is what it is. And anybody that's associated would tell you that. Wasn't nobody up there tap dancing, buck dancing, shining shoes, and nothing else. I said a lot of stuff that other people didn't even want to stand next to me because I was saying it. I remember I went to the RNC and talked to the heads of the RNC at that time. I'm talking about the very heads. First of all, we walked in the door of the RNC, myself and my business partner, Kareem. And we noticed that all the way up, we went up 4 floors, all the way up in all the hallways were pictures and pictures and pictures. And the first thing we said was, hey man, why ain't no black people up on this wall? Why are these walls? I don't see not one single black Republican on these walls. Where's Herman Cain at? Where's Michael Steele at? All I see is white folks on these walls. We went upstairs and I told them then, and you might have seen the effects, but not knowing why. I say, hey man, all that old black people on the plantation crap, y'all gonna have to freeze that lingo. I said, because I'm not down with that. I said, let me tell you something. If if you say anything about a Jewish person with a concentration camp, you're accused of anti-Semitism. I said, but let me tell you something. Racism was our Holocaust, and the plantation was our concentration camp. So all this old, just because we don't agree politically, that they're on some plantation, on some plantation and slaves, I'm not down with that. And y'all need to freeze that stuff. Don't be saying that stuff. And to their credit, the RNC didn't say it. I really only heard black people saying it. Blacks on the right. I didn't hear no white people on the right saying that. But I went up there and made sure I checked them. I said, hey, man, I'm not standing next to that crap. And if one of y'all say it, I'm coming for you. Mm-hmm. That's all. And I'm telling you, the First Step Act, I contributed 27 pages to the First Step Act. I looked Jeff Sessions in his face and pointed my finger in his chest and said, man, you're going to have to pass that legislation. You can go online and Google how I called Mitch McConnell up and said, if you don't take that First Step Back to the floor, I'm going to come up there with 500 angry niggas and we're going to tear your doggone office up. You can Google it. It's on there. And so anybody that accuses me of being a Tom or anything like that, you got to understand, I was down with Trump. I've been knowing Trump 12 or 13 years. He and I have been friends. He was going to run in 2012. I was with him then. And I was rolling with him, ride or die. If he lose, we ride off in the sunset. He won. What you want us to do? We ain't giving it back. We ain't apologizing. And so, but as far as all that old, I don't have to be like that with him. And I'm not being like that with nobody else. I'm blunt. I talk, I speak my mind. And I've always been like that. And I sure ain't gonna stand up there and let Dinesh get away with saying that stuff. And I don't say anything about it. I don't care who else doesn't respond. I'm responding.
So here's my question. Where does somebody like a Dinesh get those kind of talking points from if he shares similar political ideologies and similar worldview to people that consider themselves conservative? Because there's a diverse spectrum of people who are conservative, but what you see is a pervasive spreading and an enlarging of people that talk like D'Souza. So my question would be, how, like you said, how do people stand next to people like that? Us up here, we're people that have, for the most part, never stood next to people like that. So, well,
you gotta understand. Of course, you can see I'm not standing next to a person like that. Here's the thing: I've been pastoring my church for 30 years. I'm conservative by nature, and so it's the platform. Black people are conservative by nature, and so as far as me connecting to a platform that espouses what I think are conservative values, that's the reason I'm there. Because as a pastor, as a Christian pastor, no, I don't believe in abortion. No, I believe homosexuality is a sin. I believe in a lot of things that the conservative platform believes in, regardless of the people that are on the platform. And so that's my take. But when they come out with some nonsense like this, and here's the thing, you hear these talking points by some of these guys out there that are racist. A guy like a Charlie Kirk. Now, you know, they want to, I'll say this much. One time I was at the White House with my business partner, and Charlie Kirk said something sideways in the White House. And my business partner said to him, I will slap the shit out of you, white boy. You say something like that.
Wait, you said that in the White House?
Bro, I stand by that because that's right.
They're getting that. That's how we
you said that, bro.
Yeah. So think about it.
Shout out to the pastor.
Think about what Pastor Scott's saying, right?
Knows we got out like that. And so, and you know, the people that know me to this is not astonishing behavior, because I talk like this and home, I talk like that at the White House. And he said something sideways one time.
I just looked up that thing you said about McConnell, and it was actually true, family. He did tell him to get off his ass. I was like, you might be the bravest black man that ever came through Washington like that.
Here
we don't know how much power McConnell got.
Here goes my question for you, Pastor.
I said on video to Tom Cotton when they were opposing the First Step Back. I said, man, you act like it's gonna be a bunch of black folks running up and down the street, running them up, terrorizing you white folks. I ain't never been bashful about black-white issues for the entire from 2016 on up. I've never been bashful. It's just people want to associate and say anybody that's rolling with Trump is a coon. And so, you know, you can't fight. Everybody that says that after a while, I'm like, hey, long as I can be true to myself and know that I'm up here trying to advocate for black folks, whether my black people acknowledge it or not, it is what it is. Because here's the thing, and this is something I said to a lot of critics. If you go down all my tweets, you'll see this ain't nothing new for me. I said, here's the problem. If a black person feels that they've suffered injustice and they need national attention brought to their situation, who on the right can they call? Nobody. There are no black advocates on the right. So don't try to criticize Al Sharpton to me or Ben Crump to me or any of the others, because if somebody has done me wrong, I'm not going to, whoever wants to help me, I'm taking the help. Do you get the point I'm saying?
Well, this is my question to what you're saying. Like, I agree with everything that you're saying. But my question is, as you're seeing, there's a lot of ideological differences between quote unquote person who's black and conservative versus what we see as white conservatism. So don't you think that it would be more effective of a strategy and a more effective idea for somebody like you who has the roots in politics and the access to a lot of these things to create a specific black grassroots conservatism that's designed specifically for how black people live their lives conservatively? Because like you said, there's not going to ever be any advocacy on the white side of conservatism for black people. It's just never going to happen. It hasn't up until this point in history, and it won't at all. But if somebody like you who has experience in that area and the reach would be able to build something like that people could get behind, I think that would actually be a more effective way to get a lot of black people to actually be able to express themselves in a conservative way, the way that we naturally are. And it would be something specific for us that would be able to put us in that political right area of being on the right side of the spectrum, but also having our own specific conservative spokesperson in presence. You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you. Years ago, I had a conversation with Londell McMillan. Do you know who Londell McMillan is?
No, I don't.
He's one of the top black entertainment lawyers in the country. He represents Jay-Z, he represents a lot of those guys. He's part owner of the Brooklyn Nets. He was the editor of Source magazine.
Okay.
And he said something years ago that I thought was very powerful. He said, black people, we need to form our own political party and use it to leverage policy and not just give our vote to either Democrats or Republicans. Now, here's the thing. People don't know about me. I've got awards. I've even posted some on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. I've got awards from the NAACP. I've got awards from the SCLC. I can post pictures of Barack Obama at my church in my pulpit. So I've been active politically for a long time on both sides of the spectrum, because I've been the type of person to vote the person and not the party. But what's happening now, if I did engage to do something, there are so many people that want to call names and say he's a coon, he's a sellout, he's this and that don't know me, that they'll automatically be opposed to me regardless. They can't hear what I'm saying or even look at it without trying to sling insults and stuff.
I think, Pastor, that you might kind of be getting a bad perception of how a lot of black grassroots people are. Like, I do agree that there will be a lot of people that just try to shout you down based on associations and different things like that. But there's a lot of I would say that there's a majority of open-minded people who would actually be open to and welcoming to hear something that somebody like you would have to say and exchange ideas and have, a respectful conversation. Like Kid Gravity does this all the time. I think that the most important thing is what you said, to get people to understand the necessity of voting for policy specifically, and somebody that's been in those arenas. I think that I think people will be open to listen to you.
I took Jim Brown. I introduced Jim Brown to Donald Trump. The reason I did it because I wanted to get support for Jim Brown's American program, because they were doing a lot to help the black community. And in fact, what people don't know is when I took Jim Brown up to Trump Tower to meet with Trump, Trump told him out of his mouth, he said, listen, we got $1 billion sitting around in HUD. I'll make sure that they give you some financial backing. Then he said to Jim, but if HUD doesn't do it, I'll write a check out of my own pocket. Now, people don't know that, but what happens when Jim Brown and Ray Lewis came downstairs, all the black people called them coons.
I think, well, to touch on what Black Light said, I think the problem is
the great Jim Brown, who's been a civil rights activist since the 60s, an outspoken civil rights activist for black people. You call him a coon because he's meeting with the president of the United States about funding programs that could help black people?
Well, I'm gonna ask the same question that white people do. Were those Democratic shills? Because like anytime, when white people are acting a fool when it comes to some conservative or some Republican, they're always like, oh, well, those are white liberals. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you there was probably not very many actual quote unquote grassroots people that would make up the majority of people who were down there showcasing, calling Jim Brown a coon. I think if most people would be trying to get an autograph before anything.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
When I say they weren't in the lobby calling him a coon, they were in the country calling him a coon.
Oh, you mean like on social media and stuff like that?
Right.
Mark Lamont Hill, that little punk, Mark Lamont Hill called him a coon.
He's a Democrat shill, Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah, we went to CNN, Jim and I did, and I saw Mark Lamont Hill in the hallway. And I said, man, what's up with you calling Jim Brown like who? And he punked out.
Well, I bet he did.
Well, Pastor, let me ask this question then, because it's something that Black Light touched on, something that you touched on as well. You got to understand, I said 3 years ago during the 2020 election cycle, black conservatives got to come talk to the black grassroots, especially when Trump brought out the Platinum Plan. Even if we don't agree on everything in there, just the optics of people that are black from different ideologies and different social leanings, that's a powerful statement. But a lot of them, not including you, but a lot of them didn't want to do that. And now Trump lost, and they're like nomads with nowhere to go. So that's my biggest criticism with black conservatives, is they love parroting these white talking points, but they fail to realize that white conservatives and white liberals can interchange anytime. You just got to give them the correct issue. So how would you bridge that gap? Because for us to make sure we're secure, especially with reparations next year, because it's now in the lexicon, we may need a couple of them black conservative voices that have big platforms to get on the pro-reparation train.
I took, over the 4 years Trump was in office, I took so many groups of black people up there. And when I say groups of black, I took barbers from the hood to the White House. I took Nino Brown. Y'all know Nino Brown. He's on social a lot. You know who Nino Brown is?
Yeah.
Nino Brown. I took him to the White House. I took groups of Democrat black legislators to the White House. And I'm gonna be honest, I had to take some of them off to the side and basically say, man, stop cooning up here. Stop. I'm being honest. I have to be honest. They would get up there and get scared, man. They would get back behind that iron gate, get past their Secret Service and find themselves in those doors and dread, fear and dread. And you know what they would say to me? Man, I can't believe you talking to these white folks up here like this. I cannot believe you talking. And I'll be like, man, and I didn't bring you up here for you to coon. I brought you up here for you to stand up and say the stuff that you say in the barbershop. Say it up here in their face. And my people would get up there and get scared, man. A lot of them got scared. I took a group of preachers there one time, right? And they were all Democrat preachers. I put them in a room with Trump. They let each one go around the room and say something. And I'm gonna be honest.
I remember this.
I texted my friend while it was going on. And you know what I texted him and said? These dudes up here cooning hard. I texted him and said that, right? And so afterwards, it was over. Trump had to go. I went out the room and talked to him. I came back. I said, man, y'all missed a golden opportunity. I said, how? I said, y'all was so busy going around the room kissing his ass. Excuse my French. I said, you had him in the room on TV. You could have asked for anything you wanted, and he couldn't have said no. Y'all got the president of the United States right on the TV camera in his face. You could have said, well, my name is such and such, and I've got an outreach program for blacks, and I need $1 million. He couldn't say no. And I bring y'all all up here to voice the stuff you say in private, and y'all all got up here and got chicken. I mean, I'm being honest. That's been my experience.
That was like February 2021, right?
You know what people don't know? You know what people don't know? Jesse Jackson probably called up to the White House once a week, talk to Trump. They've been friends for years. They're still friends. In fact, back in 2015, I've been knowing Jesse for years. You know what Jesse told me? Jesse said, you stick with him no matter what anybody says, because if he wins, we need somebody up there. Jesse told me that back in 2015. And he called and talked to him a lot because Jesse was instrumental in Robert Blagojevich getting that pardon. Jesse Jackson was the one that ran point on that. Al and talked to him a lot. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. Al Sharpton, while you sit out there and tell him what tickets, him and Trump was still. Al Sharpton and I had a debate on television on MSNBC. I was with Trump that Friday in the Oval Office. I said, me and Al was on there having a debate. He said, what? I said, about you, coming down to the Civil Rights Museum that they were dedicating down south. And Trump looked up and he said, me and Al have been friends for a long time. You know, he used to come around a lot, but he don't do it no more. But he and I have been friends for a long time. I'm waiting on him to bash Al. He didn't say one bad thing about it. All he said was, he and I have been friends for a long time. Puffy called him one time when he and I were in the car together. Puffy called. You know what Puffy told him? He said, man, the way you say African American sounds funny. But he told him, he said, you can't say black anymore. You got to say African American. I was in the car with him when Puff called him. All the guys that were his friends before, they're his friends now. I called Trump, when was this? A few months back. He was on the golf course with Lawrence Taylor and O.J. Anderson. And so they're on the golf course. He put me on the phone with LT. We're playing golf with him all the time. So afterwards, I was a little hot. I said, man, these guys know you ain't a racist. They've been golfing with you for years. Why don't they come out and say it? You know what Trump told me? He said, well, they need to protect their brand. And I understand. And see, that's the stuff. There's a lot of people out there in the streets that's raising hell. They don't know about that. Okay. So they'll go run with a narrative that people like me and others know is a false narrative. Marcus Allen called me. He said, man, I know Trump ain't no racist. I've been friends with him for years, but I can't go out there and say nothing because I don't want everybody pouncing on me.
Well, do you mind taking some questions before you go?
I'm here.
All right. I got one from JD Foreman. He said, can you get his thoughts on James Clyburn and the poverty issue in his district?
Well, I mean, we need the one thing we've been impressing upon Trump as far as his, and this is something was going to happen before COVID hit. My business partner and I were very much on him about economic empowerment for Black people. I was in a meeting with Jared Kushner, Trump, and some others, and they were going around, and I told him, I said, the Black community is the only race of people, the people that ain't Black, think y'all know more about what we need than we do. Non-Blacks think y'all know more about the Black people, what they need. So they were in the room talking about school choice. They were in the room talking about this and that. I said, we want the same things white people want. And they said, what? I said, more money. We want, you give us the money, we'll be able to choose a school in a better neighborhood. You give us the money, we can fix what's broken in the Black community, because the majority of crime in the Black community are all financially based. Drug sales, financially based. Robbery, financially based. I said, if we have enough money, if we have the economic empowerment, we ain't got to rob nobody. We ain't got to sell no dope. I said, our crimes of passion are no more than any other race. But it's economic disadvantage that causes us to have the crime that we have. And so if we can solve those economic disadvantages, you can see a reduction in crime. And Trump agreed with it wholeheartedly. And we were going to roll out, that was part of his platinum plan and all that. But then you had all the ones that ran out and tried to bash it and whatever.
Yeah. All right. So the next one I got from Cordell Lewis said, how do all Black people get on code in one accord and get reparations?
I mean, that's not an easy one. I've said this, and I've said it on TV, on white TV. I said, listen, I haven't been one that has been outspoken about reparations, but if I get my check, I'm cashing it. I'm cashing my check.
So you're pro reparations.
I'll be standing at the bank first thing in the morning, direct deposit. I ain't even got to go to the bank. But now, here's one thing I told people. You know, they try to cop out with that. Well, none of us own slaves, and they want to confine reparations to slavery. But reparations aren't confined to slavery. There are a lot of after effects Hey, man, let me tell you something. I'll be 65 years old this year. I grew up during the civil rights movement. I can still remember the day Martin Luther King got shot. I remember when Malcolm X got shot. Heck, I remember when John F. Kennedy got shot. I grew up during the civil rights movement. It's the after effects that we need reparations for as well. We need reparations for the Jim Crow. We need reparations for the redlining. We need reparations for all of the jobs we didn't get because we were black. So it's more to it than just slavery. Slavery was just the beginning of the ride. It's all of the after effects after slavery. It wasn't like we got released from slavery and became equal American citizens. There was a lot. I mean, discrimination and segregation occurred during my lifetime. I can remember George Wallace on television in 1968, railing against black people and saying how he wanted to maintain segregation. So, you know, reparations is more than what they try to simplify it and make it a matter of, well, you got free from slavery. No, it's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. It's like a person beating you up and say, well, they ain't beating you no more. Yeah, but I still hurt. My jaw got broke. My eyes permanently blind in one eye because there are a lot of after effects that accompany it that we do indeed need reparations for. Now, how they figure out the money part of it, hey, man, look, I'm cashing my check.
I think that one of the realities that people should start to explore is the fact that how you gave that what is that? The allegory, I want to say, the allegory of the broken eye and the broken neck, all of the after effects. I think that that's the intended purpose. So those people, they'll like, the thing is that we're in the state that we're supposed to be in. So it's up to us to identify that and figure out a way to force reparations on the United States. Because here's the thing, if somebody like Matt Walsh says, well, nobody alive today owned a slave. Yeah, the entity, the United States, is currently here today. You know what I'm saying? The United States legal system created something called corporations, which are artificial people, and the United States Corporation of America is still functioning today as a result of the economy that was created based on locking black people out of the economy with Jim Crow and black codes, as well as the agricultural economy that the South jump-started. There is absolutely no way that anybody can disprove that. So my thing that we should do is, I think that we should never, ever care what any of these people in the population say, and start thinking of quote unquote different options if the government doesn't do what we need them to do, because history is on our side. We're 100% right about this. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that every single element of the case that we're bringing to the United States as far as their crimes against us is 110% correct and accurate as we present it. What we got to understand is that if we break the way that the system is, all of these people, white people, immigrants, all of these people that come in, they're all at a position where they could possibly lose something, because this system is based on us being at the bottom. So if we're ever able to be competitive, that's going to shake up the entire economy. You know what I'm saying? And that's something where people stand to lose.
And watch this. I like what that analogy that you did bring out when they said nobody alive owned slaves. Well, nobody alive started the KKK, but they want the Democratic Party started the KKK. But just like the KKK still exists today, the effects of slavery still exist
today. Facts. Absolutely.
So you can't say, well, none of us own slaves. Well, then none of these other ones started the Ku Klux Klan. Let's not do that. And if it was any other ethnic group, they would be talking about reparations. You know what it is? The Republican Party hates the Democratic Party so much that with blacks being supporters of the Democratic Party, they can mask their hate for Democrat or mask hate for blacks by saying it's because they're Democrats. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And you ain't gonna never see me. If you go back years, I fought for George Floyd. I advocated for George Floyd. I said he was done wrong. When you get them coons like Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum and all that. In fact, I checked her at the White House too. You know, me and her fell out. I checked her at the White House in front of the white folks. So about that nonsense she was talking about. But
let me shut up.
You know, I went out there for George Floyd. I went out there for Ahmaud Arbery, and what happened to them was wrong. I said, you white folks sit up there and act like cow. Y'all, Nick Sandman got into a staring house with an Indian, a staring contest with the Indian, And y'all act like he was a victim. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people. Y'all act like he was a... Could you imagine if Kyle Rittenhouse was black?
Oh, Lord. He'd be in jail right now.
Yeah, the judge wouldn't have been acting like his public defender.
Facts. He wouldn't have been behind the judge's seat looking at video.
There was a situation where a black man, I think it was in Florida, punched a white guy. I think he attacked him and called him the N-word at a Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. And the whole entire country was rallying for this black guy to go to jail. And this is coming straight out of the quote unquote stand your ground state.
Yeah, look at what happened with Ozone Wallace.
Yeah.
He defended himself, and now he looking at decades behind jail. And they keep moving his court date.
Facts. I think we lost a pastor.
He might have froze on him.
He down there looking like Pimp C from
damn, we lost him. I'm sure he'll come back. He got the win.
He might jump in. But he was right, like as far as like the Charlie Kirk situation. Like he's right. And I've been saying that hotels we call him Master Charlie. You know what I mean? Like that
we just call him Charlie Cuck over here.
Because that whole Democratic plantation that started with Turning Point USA.
He back and he put the glasses on.
Put the glasses on.
He put the glasses on.
What's going on up there? Hey man, I got 100 of these. I buy them from Walgreens. I got them all over the house. I'm like, what happened?
See, like to me, like it would. I think that you guys will have more product. Like, this is just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that you all necessarily need to talk to the type of people like Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is like Charlie Kirk, we're all people of the world. We know what's going on. We all know that Charlie Kirk is who he is and what he is, right? We're never going to make inroads with a person like that. I think that it would be a better strategy that people may want to consider, like Kid Gravity is saying, for conservative black people who have been immersed in the political realms to come and talk to grassroots people. Like I said, Hotep Jesus one time, he pulled up on one of my streams and we had a really good conversation. I'd have never thought I'd have had a good conversation with Hotep Jesus. I would have thought we've been trolling each other back and forth and talking crazy. It was a great conversation. And there was a Middle MAGA who came up on Kid Gravity's stream before. And, there was things that people disagreed with, but we had a good conversation. And the thing is that everybody left with the idea that we're going to check out some of the things that each other said. And I think that there would be more headway, more strength, and there's a lot of people that advocate for unity. I think one of the best ways for a first step in exemplary unity to occur is for black conservatives, act like real brothers, like Canon Hotep. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you a real brother, Pastor Scott. You know what I'm saying? Real people like us actually sitting down and having a conversation. It's like, yo, these people can do this. They can have a productive conversation. They can lay out a plan. They can lay out a 20-year strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of the things that we want now, because a lot of people are coming into a political consciousness, it's easy for everybody to just demand all of these things. But what a lot of people don't understand just coming into a political consciousness is that politics is a machine. You need think tanks, you need media, you need collaboration, you need businesses, you need lobbyists. And I think that once we start talking to people that are like you all, that'll be a lot more easily illustrated. You know what I mean? And with that illustration, now people will have a better schematic of what it is that we have to do. And with a better schematic, people will be able to be more focused. So maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, now we're really doing our thing, voting on point. Now we got our businesses putting money behind politicians. You know what I'm saying? Doing that kind of thing. And I think that the disappointment, it'll come with a lot of the people that are not willing to put in a long-term investment. But I think there are a lot of us that are willing to put in a long-term investment. If I never see a penny of reparations, if I do something that moves towards my kids or my grandkids seeing reparations, I'm down for whatever that takes. You know what I'm saying?
I took a group of blacks up to the White House one time to have a sit down with Trump. There was about 8 of them. And one young lady in the room was very outspoken.
Oh, you talking about Sonny Johnson?
Huh? You
talking about Sonny Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're afraid of Sonny.
I took Sonny to that meeting. I took her up there that day. And Sonny got in the room. She went on a nice rant. And Trump said very profound. I think it went over her head. He said, I think you should run for office. And he was right, because a lot of the things she was ranting about was something the federal government couldn't provide. A lot of things black people want, we got to get it from state government and city government. The federal government can't provide that. She started talking about, we need generational wealth and we need this and that for blacks and this and that. And he was like, he couldn't think of nothing to say, but otherwise, other than, I think maybe you would be good to run for office. And that's where a lot of us miss it at. We want the federal government to give us things that should come from the state and the local governments. A lot of opportunities, the federal government is not involved in a lot of things like that. You have to get it from municipal governments, and we have that misnomer that we're not aware of that.
Yeah, and she talks about that a lot. Sonny, that's the big sis right there. She talks about that a lot, where things start at local government. We need to take control of our local government first. We need to back politicians that we want in our local government and put them in office. We need to bring our pool, like you're saying, Black Light, like we need to pool our resources and our money and fund our politicians that we want so we can get what we need.
Right. That's what we're doing with Marcel Dixon right now. He's the start. We got to do that. And he's scaring. He doesn't even get nearly as much funding as Clyburn gets, but they're scared of him in DC.
I was meeting with Republican leaders in Ohio a couple of years ago, and they were really trying to tout this John James dude out of Detroit and some others. And I said to him, I said, hey, man, why y'all always keep trying to go get these old buttoned up black dudes that got the white wife and buttoned all up like they got a stick up there behind? Ain't no black people voting for them dudes just because they black, because they don't come across as being real. I said, we don't identify with them. And, he said something that was very eye-opening for me. You know what he said? He said, I'm sorry, but those are the kind we identify with.
See, there you go, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So once he said that, I said, well, I feel you on that. But here's the thing. We don't identify with those. A lot of times black conservatives get over to what we consider to be the other side. And I have to be honest, they get up there, man. I'm not going to get in the room with white folks and start trying to act white. I'm not doing that. And I see too many of my watch this. I'll give you an example. When I took Nino Brown to the White House with me, right? I took him in to meet with the comms department because I was trying to get him hooked up through the comms department that they would spend money with him. And Nino Brown started saying some things, and before he could talk, he started apologizing. I had him in front of Mercedes Schlapp. She was over the head of the cons. And he started apologizing for his lack of education. He's like, well, excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't have a vocabulary. I don't know the right way. And I kicked him under the table. And after we got outside, I said, nigga, I didn't ask you to get up there and start apologizing about what you ain't got.
Yeah, just talk. They're going to get the message as long as they hear what you're trying to convey to them. They'll get it.
Towing and catering to white folks. I know who you are. I brought you up here to be you. I'm trying to get you plugged in, and I bring you up here to be you, and you immediately start getting docile and apologizing for what you thought was your lack of etiquette or polish or whatever. And I was disappointed. And I had that experience on a number of occasions with folks I tried to bring on board. I had a lot of other people call me that wanted to do some things, but they didn't want to put their name out there. That wanted me to get them in the room and all of that, but they want to come in the back door. And I say, man, you ain't treating us like no booty call. I ain't rolling like that. Ain't gonna have me hooking you up in private, and you can't stand next to me in public. I'm not doing that. We got ASAP Rocky out the joint. You see what he had? I can still pull the text up in my phone. ASAP Rocky, his mother, his manager, everybody. All we asked him was, man, if we get you out, all we asked you to do is say thank you in public. And the Negro never did. He never would say it. He never would do it. I can show you the text. In fact,
we're not going to
Google it. Just Google up there.
We're going to keep that brother private. But Cordell, I don't know how long you've been here, brother, but I said this like 2 hours ago. We understand, and I've told black conservatives this, the white conservatives will never accept them. We understand that. That's why I said they need to come down and talk to the black grassroots, balance out the message.
Well, no,
they're not going to canvass. They're not going to come knock on the doors.
I'm gonna say this: we have a lot of black conservatives that reinforce negative stereotypes.
Right.
With pushback. I mean, look at how many of them quiet about Dinesh. They
even before you came on, I was looking on YouTube to see if anybody would have said something, because that was a big story that went viral. None of them have said nothing. Now ABL might say something today, but y'all should have said something that day. Y'all should have went live on that. But you'd have to have an uncomfortable conversation with your crowd, and you know what's going to happen.
Here's what messed up a lot of folks. For the first time in United States history, in these 2016 elections, you had white folks on the left, Democrats, calling other white folks racist. You ain't never seen that before. You have white folks calling white folks racist. And so what happens when the white folks and the Democratic white folks call the Republican white folks racist, and rather than examining themselves, you had the black ones jump up. Oh no, they're not. Everything they're saying is legitimate. So you'll get the Candace, and you'll get the Branham Tatum, and you'll get the Leo and them to stand up, and all they want to talk about is black on black crime. And they want to talk about Chicago, and they want to reinforce or even introduce negative stereotypes and perceptions about the black community that are not true.
Well, I agree. Would you agree that problem right there that you just talked about right there is the exact same thing that Nino Brown was doing when he's self-reinforcing the stereotypes?
Yeah.
So like the thing is that there's a pervasive, if you ask me, a pervasive cultural issue of people running to do that kind of thing instead of actually holding their ground and standing on what it is that they believe in and who they are. You see what I'm saying? If people are willing, if somebody is willing to do that on the right for a paycheck, or if you're willing to do that on the left because you just, for whatever reason, you just feel that you're so inferior, you have to apologize for simply being in a room and breathing the same oxygen as these people.
Thank you.
That's a cultural problem, because it's going on across the board. It's going on all over the place. It's not just on the left. It's not just on the right. And the problem is that people on the left want to separate themselves from the right. But when you're in the same culture and you're sharing the culture and you're seeing the same behaviors taking place on both sides, that's a cultural problem. No one's standing their ground anywhere.
Because the white man water tastes better. You know what I mean? The white man water tastes better. That's how they look at it.
But here's the thing, though, brother. The white man's also poisoning his own water.
Right, but that's what I've been saying this before. I'm like, you got people like the Candace Owens and Brandon Tatums who they say what those red whites can't say. They use them to say what they can't say.
If you know what I mean? If you notice something, Trump don't fool with her much no more. I called him one time. He had retweeted something she said, and I called him. I said, man, you don't be standing next to that chick, man. I said, because the stuff that come out of her mouth, her proximity to you, it makes it like it's coming out your mouth too. And he said something that was right. He said, you're right. He said, but if I take it down, it'll cause more attention than me putting it up in the first place. So I'll just leave it on. But if you notice, you don't fool with her no more. I told him, I said, man, you're guilty by osmosis, because anything she say, they think she got.
Who is this again?
With it.
Candace
That's
Owens.
The point.
No, who don't fool with her?
I'm like
Trump.
I
ain't
on that. And if you
know,
know,
I got another question for you when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so this brother, I really respect him. He's a great black shark. He's on YouTube as well. I think YouTube could have a great conversation as well. But he asked, what difference do you think black conservatives can make in a white-run party with no power to affect decision-making in it?
They can have a lot of power if they open up their mouth and don't get in there and sell out. Hey, man, let me tell you something. I took Ray J with me, and he has it on video. I took Ray J with me down to Mar-a-Lago, right? He has the video. He can show it. I took Ray J with me down to Mar-a-Lago, and Trump was going around the room acknowledging people. He acknowledged senators, he acknowledged politicians, he acknowledged this, acknowledged that, then he pointed to me. He said, that guy right there, that's my pastor. He said, and you know what? He's the most powerful person in this room. Now, that's what he said out of his mouth. In a room full of folks with me and Ray J and my business partner, maybe two other people, the only black folks in there. Blew Ray J away. But if they open up their mouth and don't be afraid, they can get their point across. See, them folks know not to mess with me. I told a black preacher one time, I say, man, here's the difference between me and you. You got on TV and got a few hits and you branded yourself as, I'm just a nice guy that want to get along with everybody. I branded myself as a hellraiser that'll let anything come out of his mouth. And as a result, they don't mess with me. and they listen when I talk. And if the black conservatives quit sucking up so much, they can get some positive things going. Because to be quite honest, the white conservatives on the Republican Party, they're not racist like that. They actually think they're right until somebody tells them that they're wrong. And then they say, well, what can we do to fix it? But if you got people behind them saying, yo, yeah, you is right. Yeah, you is right. Blacks is killing each other. Blacks do have a low IQ. Then they like, well, what the heck is the problem? I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know and what I see.
Now, here goes my question. Oh, go ahead, kid.
Real quick. This is why I separate them. That's why I call them the TV YouTube conservatives.
Yeah.
Because they're just doing that for hits. Because again, when Trump lost, you saw their engagements go down. So they have to go and be extra extreme now. Especially, they showed me a whole lot with Tyree Nichols. They showed me a whole lot. Because y'all saw black men get beat on film and y'all still defending them cops. You can't, even white folk in your comment thread say, nah, we can't even get down with that. Like, he might have done something wrong, but still, at the end of the day, we can't defend that.
They defended Derek Chauvin when he choked out George Floyd. They defended them two white guys that shot him out there.
Yep.
That stuff is disgusting.
Yeah.
All for the bag, all for the grift, all for those hits.
Facts.
But some of them ain't even getting no bag.
So check this out. Check this out, right? So remember, like, when the whole Brexit thing happened, and it was like around the time when Trump was like, well, you know, black people should vote for me because why not, you know, give it a shot. What did he say? What do you got to lose, right?
What do you got to lose? Yeah.
So that's when there was a lot of, like, what Kid Gravity is saying, like YouTube quote unquote conservatives going with this message of, you know, Brexit and quote unquote getting off the Democrat plantation, right? So if that was the conservative outreach to quote unquote black people, my question is, how effective has that been? How many black people have black conservative flipped? And if black conservatives haven't flipped anybody, my question is, why are these people still getting a paycheck? And what's going on there?
I'm glad you asked that question. First of all, when Trump said that, I talked to him about it, and what he said to Trump, what he was saying was, give me a shot. Give me a shot. Give anybody else a shot, give me a shot.
That's how I took it.
But here's the thing, and this is when Candace and Owens and I fell out, and it happened at the White House. She would have a Brexit meeting, and here's how some of these guys are suckers, because Brandon Tatum even called asking me for a job before, because he was disillusioned with her.
Don't tell that lie. That's info that I need. Don't tell that lie. No. I need that info. Don't tell that lie. I could do a whole stream on that. No. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got into a Twitter beef before, and I said, Negro, don't let me start talking about when you called me up asking me for a job to work with my urban revitalization coalition because you was disillusioned with Kansas. Don't get me to talking, because what it was, Kansas would have these meetings, and she would come back and say, I had 800 people at the Brexit meeting, but only 10 of them would be black. Her crowds would be all white, and she got upset because we outed her in the White House one time. We were up there for a meeting and she was there, and she started talking about how many people there. And I said, man, you'll have a meeting with 800 people in there and 790 of them is white. So stop with this stuff. And so here's what I told her. I said, unless you have a voter's registration component to it and you can track your effectiveness, then you're just blowing smoke up everybody's behind. Then I even challenged her. I said, give me, because me being a pastor in a church, we have what we call testimonies. You guys know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we have a revival, we can tell you how many people got saved. And we can have these people that got saved stand up and say, I once was lost, but now I'm fine, was blind, now I see. I gave my life to the Lord. I said, produce me 5 people. All I want is 5 that will say I was a registered Democrat. And I heard the message of Brexit. And because of Brexit, I became a registered Republican. Show me 5 people. They can't. That stuff was fake from the get-go.
So here's my question. So what can y'all, just for lack of a better term, the real black conservatives, when are y'all going to call out them people? Because I know you said you've done it and I've seen those videos.
Go back. You can look and see. She blocked me.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people that are like you that are actually conservative. When are y'all gonna call them out and say they don't represent us? Because when you hear the term black conservative, her name pops up first. Tatum's name pops up first. All the people that Fox News loves to call up, or CNN or MSNBC like to disrespect. When I think that's where y'all's message gets diluted because they think that y'all think like them, so people don't take y'all serious. But when is it y'all gonna stand as a group on a podium or on a Twitter space or something and say, listen, them kind of conservatives, those belong to the white folks. The real conservatives, we are for what y'all down here need. Y'all need reparations. We there for you. When can that happen? I think that should happen before January 1st.
There are a few others. Sonny Johnson will speak out.
Yeah.
Alicia Killing will speak out.
Angela Stanton will speak out.
Excuse me?
So Angela Stanton, sometimes she'll speak out.
Yeah, Angela's a real one. She's a real one. But to be quite honest, they're not going to do it, man. It's going to be hard. Let me tell you something. People vote their pocket. Appeal, you want the black vote, appeal to the black pocket. Have policy in place that can empower us. We ain't asking for no handout, but we want what everybody else is getting. You subsidized farmers. They see when they give money to white folks, they call it subsidy. They give money to black people, they call it welfare.
Yeah, that's why we're going so hard on reparations, because like we always say, you gave it to everybody else. You can easily just give it to us and the conversation is over.
Thank you. But so if we can come with a cohesive economic plan to empower Black Americans, let us have access to capital. We just want the same access to capital that the white folks have. I know a guy in Palm Beach. He blew $200 million of other people's money on speculative venture stuff. And it was just like, okay, no big deal. Well, they want us to jump up and down the clock because we got a home loan with a high interest rate. We just want the same access to capital everybody else gets. You know how many banks there are in America? There are over 5,000 banks in America. You know how many black banks are in America?
Less than
right
10.
now.
Less than 10.
You know how many black banks are in America? 19.
Less than 20.
I got a question for you, Pastor.
They want to tell us we got access to capital. No, we don't. So they got to level that economic playing field. We ain't asking. We ain't even asking for a hand up or a handout. We want the same hand everybody else gets. That's all we want.
Here goes my question for you, Pastor. Do you think that black conservatives with a similar mind state to yours would be opposed to a long-term plan of conservatives doing business with black grassroots people in order to generate a political fund?
We need to.
Because the thing is that because I believe that the probability of us being able to force the hand of the people who would be making a decision on reparations, that we would have a higher probability if we had a large financial stick to wave. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I'm in total agreement with that. And they also say things like, well, blacks are not a monolith. Well, we need to become one. We need to be monolithic once again and leverage our vote. To be quite honest, you ain't winning no elections without black people these days. Well, not many. We need to leverage that voting power we have and not just be so to either party on either side, and look at what policy. Let them, the same way the evangelical vote is being courted because they recognize the power they have as a voting bloc, we need to recognize that power as well. I had an argument with on television with a conservative friend of mine because I was telling them about, they're not approaching black people white. And they said, well, we don't want to pander. I said, how come when you go after any other group, it's outreach?
See, you already doing better. You already doing better over here. You ain't arguing with nobody.
But if you come to black people, it's pandering. Skip
you hear me, Pastor? I said, you already doing better over here. You ain't arguing with nobody.
Right. That's why I keep telling them, listen, I get that we crack on y'all, but just have a conversation. We ain't gonna come up in here and yell on you. I told Candace Owens on many occasions, just come here and talk to me. I ain't gonna yell at you. I ain't gonna call you out your name. I just got some questions. I want to see where your head is at.
Those questions, because she fake. But I mean, come on, man. I ain't gonna go there. But they do what they feel they need to do. You understand what I'm saying? For whatever they can. I can't lay my head on my pillow at night thinking I done coon that day.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest. To be quite honest, myself and my business partner Kareem Lanier, I was probably being overly aggressive when I was at the White House, but I had to do it just to make sure I wasn't being coony. So I was being overly aggressive to have the
Right. We're overly aggressive.
These folks know, don't mess with me.
Yeah. So somebody in the chat asked, what do you call it when they give money to illegals?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, but they're saying, what's the term for it?
Stealing. Stealing. That's what it's called.
Yeah, because we call it stealing our tax money, but they're like, oh, we're helping disenfranchised people. I'm like, you got a whole race that's disenfranchised in this country that y'all don't want to help.
And man, let me tell you something. I'm still black, right? And I'm like, if the black mindset is, hey man, you giving them some money, then God gonna give us some money. Now I can remember 40 years ago, I was working at a job, and I started working this job, and the guy came in about a month after me, a white dude, and I found out he was making a quarter an hour more than me, which was $10 a week after 40 hours. I raised hell around there. I will burn this whole thing down. Y'all better make this right, because he was getting 25 cents an hour more than I was getting, and I raised hell. And that's just how we are. So if you're giving them money, you can give us money. Now, the one
it's not like y'all broke.
I will say this: Joe has played us. Joe ain't getting black folks nothing. Joe ain't did. So I don't understand the blind support for him.
I said,
you know what it was?
Time.
You know what it was? It was the student loan stuff. That's what it really was. Because I talked to a lot of black folks. They said the only reason they voted for him was because he said he was going to cancel student loan debt. I was like, where was his plan?
You know what else though, man? The Joe and the Democrats are smart enough to do. Sometimes all you want, man, is some empathy. You want
somebody to say sorry to you.
It's some empathy. And that's the one thing that the Republican Party has not been, was empathetic. I ain't even asking for sympathy. We're just asking for empathy as a fellow human being. And they don't even want to be empathetic in a lot of cases.
What was we just talking about with Matt Walsh, y'all?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. It's time for people to start examining the possibility of the incapability of these people to actually be able to be like that and actually adjust to that, whether it's us forcing the hand or not.
Like I said, yo, I said all the time. I said, y'all gave Joe Biden the booty on promises, and now he won't return your phone calls.
Yeah,
exactly what happened.
Which made no sense.
Prom night politics.
I get it. He's selling you student loan debt. I get it. What was the simple question of somebody asking, how do you plan to accomplish that?
Yeah. And he wasn't able to come to. And remember, what about all of us who weren't college students, who don't have student loans?
Right. I told people that I'm not paying for no college student to go to school for free.
He wasn't just canceling student loans for black people.
Right. There's everybody.
Everybody.
Right. Which means white folk get more generational wealth because that's gone.
Thank you.
Well, and that's the Democratic grift too. As long as you always have us in the bottom of all of these disparity categories, they can always package a program and say this and lead the program with us and then distribute it to the rest of everybody else, which is one of the reasons I got a whole different program, but I'm gonna just end on that. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's why I said this Ukraine war is not as successful as they thought it was going to be because we don't care about it. We weren't outside for it. You didn't see us out there protesting for Ukraine. We were like, listen, that's great. Guess what? We got problems here, folks. And number one is you got to cut the check. Let's go.
Hey, you know what the Bible says?
What does it say?
Money answereth all things.
There you go. And now look, now your man, they sitting there struggling over a debt ceiling. They just fixed it.
Yeah, they just fixed it.
And the Senate might not even pass it.
Right.
They'll pass it. They better
but
pass
hey, guess what? Y'all still got the money. Cut the check. Let's go.
Yeah, they have to fix that. They don't want America to go into default because it'll be hypocritical. to do that.
Well, can't they just blame Trump?
And that's what it is. You know, to be quite honest, the American public is getting played in a lot of respects. I saw this I'll give an example. I would be on CNN sometime and banging it out with these guys, going hard, tooth and nail. And so we would be finished with the set and be back in the green room, and I'm still in dog mode.
Yeah, you'd be wanting to take somebody's head off.
Camera fronting, going out to get drinks together.
I'm about to say that.
Now that these cameras off, I'm ready to go upside this nigga's head in here.
Wait a minute. You and Pastor, you in dog mode? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
This is bullcrap.
But here's the thing too, and I think people they still underestimating the black vote. I know, I get it. It's a great talking point to say we vote 90% Democrat. I don't know when the last time. I don't know if y'all didn't see the last 3 elections, but okay, that's fine. Whatever. I guess we round up in America. Fine, whatever. Do y'all understand that black folks are the main reason why Stacey Abrams didn't get in, even though they don't want to admit this?
Yeah, I talked about that.
We were the main ones saying
had Beyonce and LeBron knocking on doors, and they knew better. They said, "No, no, thank you."
We all black right here, right?
Right. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna say what I'm about to say is the truth. It is sad.
What's that?
If she was fine, she would have got in.
There you go. There you go. If she didn't come off, she didn't come off like the L word, she would probably would have won.
They'd have voted for her.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, that's why. But that was my thing. I said Stacey would have had the election in the bag if she just would have said, "I'm for reparations." She'd have had the bag. That's why I also said Trump, he got to come outside and have a firm stance on reparations. That's gonna make or break his campaign. If he says yes, he can fracture the Democratic vote. He could get it under 70%. If he says no, he gonna have a uphill climb because we're not gonna go outside for this man.
He got to deliver on it, though. He got to deliver on it.
Well, here's the thing: he can't run from it because he came out with the platinum plan and he based it off of Ice Cube. He can't run from it.
But the thing
we're
about
gonna ask him. We're gonna be like, "You're not for reparations. So why did you go? Why did you waste that black man's time? Why did you come out with the platinum plan?"
No, he's not gonna run from it. I talk to Trump all the time. I talk to him at least once a week, sometimes 2-3 times a week. And
tell him to come on the stream.
He and I have the type of relationship that we were friends first. So I have a relationship with him that I can probably say things to him and we say to each other and talk about stuff that he don't talk about with a lot of other people. I'll put it this way. But that is going to be his main thrust for the black community's economic access to capital and economic empowerment. He's going to roll out.
Do you think he would stand for cash payments? Do you think he would stand for it or no?
You remember that time we did a cash payment and they called me and said I was trying to buy votes. The black people did. You know what's sad? You can look it up. We had an event right around Christmas, and every Christmas I would have people that want to donate toys and different things. And I said, man, black people want money to go buy their own stuff. We don't want just used toys and stuff. And so I had donors that gave us $50,000. We had an event, mostly Democratic black people there, and we put all these people filled out cards. We put them in a barrel, a lottery barrel, and let people come up on stage and pull names out. The lowest prize we gave out was $300 cash, all the way up to $1,000. We had like 100 people. You know how much criticism we got from that? From black people? Black people criticized it. It was. I'll tell you when it was. December 2019. And they said he trying to buy votes. I said, how the hell? First of all, to buy votes, somebody had to be selling the vote. Who the hell is selling a vote for $300? I said, that's number one. Number two, the election is a year from now. We're just trying to help some folks for Christmas. And let me tell you something. On your birthday, you rather get a present or some money?
I want some money. I'm an adult. I need money.
I got bills.
And all the criticism came from black people. Said we was trying to buy votes. My people perished for lack of, and all we were trying to do was help some people. Now, the people that were there that got the money, it was great. They were appreciative of it. We had one lady that her name got pulled for $1,000. She came up there on a walker. She said, I wasn't going to come today. And something told me to come. I caught the bus down here and her name got pulled. We gave her $1,000 cash. We gave away all the money cash and all we got was criticism for it.
But remember, these are the same people. These are the same people that criticize Steve Harvey and Ray Lewis and Kanye for going to go speak with Trump at Trump Tower right after he got elected, calling them coons when they was going up there on their behalf
to get money for the black community.
Right, but it's not a criticism when they gave that City Bike Karen and Daniel Penny $1.5 million collectively.
See,
and by the way, DeSantis helped Penny out. How is that not buying votes before he even announced that he was going to run?
Now, I know DeSantis, right? You want to hear the funny story about how I know DeSantis?
Uh-oh.
When we had the opportunity zones, when the opportunity zones first rolled out, we were going around in the black community in different areas to espouse the opportunity zones and try to encourage black people to create opportunity funds and do some opportunity zone projects in the black community. So we went to Tallahassee, Florida. We went to Florida State University, which you know what that is. That's down in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
Black Democrat leaders, State Representative Kim Daniels was part of it. Brandon Gruber was part of it. A number of black Democrats were in the room so we can talk to them about how to create these opportunity funds to help the oppressed neighborhoods. So we invited DeSantis to come. He agreed to come. We have the governor staying there. I took 2 people from the White House with me. I took a guy from the Treasury Department with us. So the event started at 7 o'clock. Now, we all know if a black event started at 7 o'clock, the black folks will be there by 7:30.
Right.
7:30, 8 o'clock, yeah.
So DeSantis comes he gets there at 6:30. So he looks around and they see that around 6:30, 6:40, we had maybe 40, 45 people in the room. And his girl made up some crap and excuse and they left. By 7:30, it's 1,000 people there. I still got the video, I got the pictures. It's 1,000 people there by 7:30. The room is full. We're looking around, where's the governor? Oh, something came up and he had to leave. So I had to sit there and make an excuse for the governor. So the next day we called this girl up and cussed her butt out hard as you could cuss somebody out. Cussed her out so bad, she called up DeSantis' chief of staff. And we cussed this butt out so bad, he called up DeSantis. And we cussed this butt out so god doggone bad, he called the CEO of Disney, who's a friend of mine, Marvel Entertainment CEO, multi-billionaire, Ike Perlmutter. He called up Ike on me to call me. And I have cussed Ike out, but me and Ike are friends. Now, Ike got DeSantis on and made him apologize for not being there. And then, you ever cuss somebody out so bad y'all became friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, y'all bang it out one day and then that's your best friend for 20 years.
Checked him out. We checked him out. And here's the part that got me. He sat there and took it. I wish I would let somebody cuss me out on the phone like that. And all I got to do is.
He knew his ass was wrong.
Right. But see, this is the kind of conversations we need because, again, they don't want to pull these conversations out there because, again, people have their already perceived notions of what each party is. But see, conversations like this is what I was stressing 3 years ago. These kind of conversations could have made all the difference.
Yeah, I agree.
That tap dancing. We ain't up there tap dancing and shining shoes. Ain't nobody doing that. I don't roll like that. Anybody that know me know I'm black or white. No, I don't roll like that. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I scared a lot of people off. And if I'd have sold out, I could have got paid. But I can't sell out, man. I never got a dime from Donald Trump or the Republican Party. Never, not one dime from none of them. And so I'm a free man. I can say what I want to say, and if they don't like it, I can tell them to kiss my ass.
Yeah. But that's the one thing I need from you, Pastor. I need you to find out how Trump feels about this reparations. I'm telling you, if he stands with us, he's gonna win. I'm telling you, he can landslide it. I'm telling you.
I'll talk to him. I'll call him.
And it's got to be firm. He can't wish wash or say like I understand he needs an incentive out of it. Besides fracturing the Democratic vote, so he could say he was the president that finally defeated the Democrats, because he's a big picture guy, so he wants to be the president to basically tell him
the YouTube 5 want to talk to him.
Right, but we need that firm thing, because again, our people are not going to go to the polls in 2024 unless there's tangibles that we can get the first day.
There's a scripture in the Bible that says, what profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? I'm gonna put it this way. He's got to craft the argument in such a way that he doesn't lose support, even as he gains support. I don't want to gain.
He got to talk to Marcel Dixon, because Marcel Dixon talked to MAGA and they got it. They understood it, because he walked in that room and they did not want to hear him talk about reparations. By the time he left, he had to stay in ovation. He's got to talk to that man.
Who are you saying?
Marcel Dixon out of South Carolina. He's running against Clyburn next year.
Okay.
Trump got to talk to that man.
Yeah.
I think, and that would help also with us with the black grassroots, because Marcel don't play either. He like you. He a bulldog with it. He'll go in there with the documents, with the history, and show Trump. You do reparations because of what happened to y'all that are Black American descendants of slavery, and how reparations can get us out of this. I think he could get on board with it. I think Trump is the kind of person, I'm sure you'll agree, he needs to see the numbers.
Let me tell you,
he needs to see the profit. There is a profit in making reparations.
If
99% for Black folks.
If you look back over, you can go back years on my social media. Y'all never saw me going hard for the Republican Party. I always went hard for Trump.
Right.
Well,
they always called you a Trump supporter.
Because me and him been friends for about 12 years. And I like the dude because he remind me of me. And so he and I have been friends of riding down. Hey man, let me tell you something. You told me right now, because we've made this connection, you told me right now I'm running for mayor or governor or senator in my state. Say, hey man, I'm rolling with you. Because that's how Black folks are. We roll with our boys, we ride or die. Y'all ain't never seen me going hard for the party. In fact, all y'all see me doing is criticizing the party. I roll with him. And me and him are friends. I roll with him, he roll with me. And it is what it is. But the rest of the party, it needs some work. It needs some work.
Right. And that's why I said when they lost, they should have revamped the party, but they didn't want to do it. Because we know if the Democrats lost, they would have revamped the party.
They didn't revamp it when Hillary lost.
Right. But I think they saw the money on just keep saying Trump's name and cracking Trump, because they knew 2018 was coming. So they said if we could take the House, we good. Nothing gonna pass. And then 2020, we get him out and get the Senate, we can do whatever we want. And here we are, the first 2 years, they haven't done anything for Black folks. And now we have the disillusion now. And now that we're saying we gonna leave these Democrats, we gonna crash these votes. Now they want to act like they love us.
I would have went a little harder for us.
What's that?
The Black Caucus is pretty quiet as well.
Well, we've rendered them mute. They not for us. They for the Africans and the Caribbeans. They not for the Black American descendants of slavery. They've already proved that.
Marsha Fudge, she's overheard now. She's for the Black folks. She's doing stuff. She's just not loud with it. But Marsha Fudge is actually doing a way better job than Ben Carson ever did. And Marsha's a friend of mine. Her and I go back decades. And I've got a lot of friends over on that side. Like I tell you, I've got awards from the NAACP. I've got awards from the SCLC. And so I've got a lot of, and I didn't alienate myself from them simply because I was rolling with Trump.
Right.
And so we can work together across party lines and get some stuff done. If, like you say, we get some more conservatives, then I'm afraid of what white folks gonna say if they side with Black folks.
Well, and I think another thing that we don't do that is always done to us, and I really advocate for us doing things to other people that have been done to us. You know what I'm saying? One thing that we don't do is we don't do the quote unquote fear campaign. And I think that we should. There's a lot of things that white conservatives, that the population in general, moderates, there are things that people are terrified of losing right now. People are terrified of the quote unquote, talking about the rainbow agenda in schools. You know what I'm saying? People are terrified of losing their Second Amendment rights. And I think that one thing, that we could do that would be pretty villainous and pretty cool is if we position ourselves and say, well, you can say all of this, but there's only one way that you can guarantee to make sure that these things that you don't want to happen don't happen. Because if you take a look at the quote unquote agenda, that was a bipartisan thing that happened as far as Democrats and Republicans signing that bill to make the LGBTQ marriages possible and the abortions and all of those different things. So here's the deal. You know what I'm saying? We can make inroads here with this check getting cut, and you can guarantee you everything that you fear, except for us not being a bottom class here in the United States. That's just something that you're going to have to give up. You're just going to have to trust us on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Aside from that, you'll be able to get everything that you want politically. You'll have whatever presidency, you will have these policies that we'll support, and it'll always be guaranteed because it'll always be your majority vote plus, 5 or 10% of 13%. Now, if you go against us, we can't guarantee you anything, and you won't get that guaranteed block. This is like that, what you were talking about, like the whole powernomics block voting type thing, Pastor. But just, spinning it with a little bit of fear, because that's what they do, is use the fear. You know what I'm saying? You got to have this woman go to a school board meeting and, oh my God, my child learned about gender identity. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, oh my God, guess what? Your child might learn even more about surgeries and hormones if you don't do what we need you to, and we can reciprocate with this vote.
Listen, I'm gonna have to go, but I'm gonna say this. And I'm make y'all a promise, and we're gonna stay in touch.
Yeah. I do have one other question before you leave. It's not going to take long. I'm
going to take a contingent of black people with me down to Mar-a-Lago to sit down with President Trump, going to chart the campaign and have some serious discussion in the room about certain things, such as what you're saying, so we can have a conversation. And I'm going to invite you guys to go with me.
I got 3 names that you need, that they have to be on the list: Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed, and Dr. Claude Anderson. Them 3 got to be on it.
I've had conversation with him during the prior 4 years. We've had conversations.
Yeah, those 3 brothers got to go.
I'll be able to take who I want down there, and we'll have a sit down. We have one. We just haven't scheduled the exact date yet. Knows the campaign hasn't went out in full swing yet, but we're gonna have this conversation. I want to invite you guys to go with me, have this conversation, and you're gonna be pleasantly surprised at the response you get. I guarantee.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm gonna send you a list, because I need you to start sending your black conservative friends new black media. So I'm gonna send you a list of channels to send them.
You're gonna be surprised at the reception that you get. It's not what you think it is over there. It's not a bunch of.
No, I know. Yeah, Marcel opened that door for us because he showed that whole video of his speech there, and again, he said that they were coming in there. They didn't even want to listen to what he said. They already had their mind made up. But again, he showed them the numbers and explained everything in terms that they could understand. And he had a standing ovation when it was done. And he got people to say, whatever help you need, let us know.
Yeah.
So that's how we got to do it.
Yeah.
And the Hotep's already staying with you anyway.
Hotep's. All right, man. I got to go plus my
yes, sir.
Dead anyway.
But it was great talking to you, Pastor. You're cool dude.
So I'm going to send over that list in like 20 minutes.
Stuff like that, and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, sir. I'm going to send you that list in your direct messages in 20 minutes.
All right. God bless.
All right. God bless you. So let me get this right. So I'm scared to talk to people, right?
Who said that?
People said, listen, I tag people all the time. I tell y'all, come up here and because when I do my videos on my live streams, I could get animated. Y'all know this. I might call you names. Now again, with Pastor, I didn't like how he handled the next situation, and he did that too much off of anger. And I said, okay, I'm not even going to torch him. We're gonna make this a teaching lesson. He came up. We talked for almost an hour and a half. Did y'all hear me yell at him one time?
Not at all. I thought it was.
I just let him talk. Now, if he said something I disagreed with, I would have popped in. I disagreed with him when he said that there's not enough conservatives out there talking. Y'all not. I get that you're calling out Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens. That's great. We need more voices like that. But you got to galvanize your side too, brother.
Right.
That's the only way we're gonna get out of this. That's the only way we're gonna get out of this. Look at this.
I agree with you on that. I 100% agree with you on that.
The optics right here. Somebody on the white side gonna pull this up.
Oh, of course.
Oh, former radical Trump supporters talking with little YouTubers. There's black YouTube. Is this the new rise of black nationalism on the internet?
Oh yeah, exactly. New York Post to have a nice.
We're gonna be black nationalists when it's all said and done. When this is over.
But you're right though. They got to come together, right?
Right.
Separately they get shunned, right? Sonny Johnson, right? After she did her epic rant at CPAC, they ain't trying to have her back.
Mm-hmm.
After she went on that rant at the White House, they ain't trying to have her back. You know what I mean? Jeff Charles, he calls it straight down the middle. Marsh, you know what I mean? They don't want those voices.
Right.
But if they can all come together, form Voltron, you know what I mean? It could do wonders.
Right. That's why I said 3 years ago, conservatives, get down here.
And stop all the infighting.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's a lot of infighting where everybody trying to be
you know what? Actually, Cannon, I'm gonna disagree with you. I like that. We're gonna see who's the strong. Only the strongest survive. Candace don't believe anything she says. She don't. She doesn't not believe anything she says. That's why it'd be easy for me to have a conversation with her. I would get her to turn right, just like we had this conversation. I would get her to turn by the time it was over.
We'd have lots of viral clips from that conversation.
That's what I'm saying. and then she gonna get mad at me. She be like, now they think I'm a grifter. I'm like, man, that was your identity though.
I mean, you are.
I'm just brought you to the light, baby. Now you can. Now your people from Virgin Islands go get their money from the Dutch. Go ahead.
But it's another thing. Like we got to start putting money. We got to start backing our own politicians, right? If we want a new party, we need to start it. We got to start putting that money.
Marcel, like I said, we can't donate to Marcel. He's the one. He's the one right now. He's the only one we got right now. Putting your money on that man. I did it. People down here, New Black Media done it. It's gotta take everybody. That man did an NBA Finals commercial last year. It's not that hard. $5 a week, it would help him. If 1,000, he got what was it, like over 30,000 people on Twitter. If he got 10% of that, everybody get $5 a week, he'd be good.
Absolutely.
But people just want to talk. It's not okay. It's easy for me to be like, yo, Marcel, come on here and talk for an hour and a half on what you've been doing lately. Okay, that's great. He need money. Just like the pastor said, everything gonna take money. That's how the government works. That's why I said, that's why I told him, Pastor, you want to move on this reparations, get Trump to talk to Marcel. The optics alone, even if they don't agree, the optics alone would make everybody talk to him. He was just on Fox News. Fox News would have him back. MSNBC would finally talk to him. CNN would be like, come down to Atlanta and come talk to us. He'd get in those circles. Hell, he could stream it on True Social.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, we see how it happens here in local government, right? For example, the last 4 Baltimore mayors funded by developers. So they was in the developers' pockets, not doing anything for the people of Baltimore City. Now, could you imagine if the people of Baltimore City came together and funded their own politician?
Facts.
Somebody be holding it to them? You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. I think 2024 going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting race.
It's going to be interesting because I'm telling you, we're going to dominate it. I'm telling you.
And you know that neither side want to have that reparations talk.
Facts.
They don't, but guess what? We made it. The day it went viral is the day they couldn't run from it anymore.
The only way it's going to get talked about is one of the politicians, one of the runners are going to have to force the conversation.
Yeah,
you know it's going to end up on the debate stage. You know it's going to be on the debate stage. The Republicans, what they're going to do is they're going to skip the first one. They're not going to say it in the first one. They're going to wait to see who gets out first, and then they're going to be like, damn, we're going to have to talk about this.
Yeah. Well, you know, because the Democrats they're not even debating.
Yes.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, we know they're not. They don't want to have that conversation because, again, that would force them to admit that they benefited off Black suffering. And they can't have that.
Well, and I think that they're not debating because of Joe Biden's cognitive status.
That
Ain't
too.
No way possible. He's going to be in the basement again.
Right. Or he might fall up the stairs, you know.
Matter of fact, what HJ say, all Dems must pay.
No, everybody in the party's got to pay. Both parties got to pay.
But that's how you get that's how you get the Republicans behind it. When you say all Dems must pay, that's when the Republicans jump behind it. Like, yeah, they get behind that slogan. You know what I mean? Now you got them talking about reparations.
But that's a scary proposition because then again, they can play, oh, well, this was about the Democrats. This ain't about y'all. But like, no, you want this vote. You got to go outside. You better get outside, sir. We're not playing no more.
They're not canvassing. They're not going to knock on doors.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
And Sonny's said this as well. Y'all got to go in these neighborhoods. It's not hard to have y'all love spending money, Republicans. Y'all love spending money. What's wrong with having y'all go up to black businesses and say, hey, you selling stuff, come outside. We got a tent for you.
Well, here's another thing too. like what has been the only effective political means to getting legislation that black people have ever done in the United States? If you ask me, the answer to that is boycott. Right? Like when we have boycotted things have happened. Now, I don't know but go ahead.
You gotta have a real boycott, though. Like I said,
right?
But here's the thing: we did have a real boycott. See, a lot of people again, they didn't pick up on it. See, when we talk, they don't want to listen unless it's something to be divisive or they could use. We did the boycott last November, and they didn't even realize it.
Right, and
we got politicians out the paint.
Well, and another thing is, I think we need to start having a cascading boycott. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the whole no tangibles, no vote thing. Second, if you don't want to give us reparations, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start boycotting our local and state economies. And the next step is going to be to boycott the federal economy, because it justifiably, if you don't want to provide us with restitution for the terror during the war that you committed against us, then we have to repair ourselves one way or another. And if that's extracting the money from the economy, then that's just what we'll have to do. And the thing is that we could do this at any time. Right now would be a really inopportune time with the debt ceiling, you know what I'm saying, everything going on with China and all of that. That is not something that the United States wants. Is one of its highest spending segments of the economy, just completely creating a vacuum.
And think about it, Democrats, your man Biden had 2 State of the Unions. Am I correct? He's done 2.
I only think he had 1. I think he only had 1.
Didn't he do one this year?
Remember, no, I don't think that was a State of the Union.
Well, whatever.
I did.
He spoke to the nation twice.
I live streamed.
No, I think he did do it because I live streamed it the next day. Yeah, he did 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah, because he skipped 2021 because of the Yamin. He skipped it, and then I think they did one last year, and then I think they did one in 2023. But whatever, 1 or 2, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right.
He said he was. He said not move much on reparations. Don't expect too much. But he was willing to talk about LGBT and Asians and what they need to do to elevate them.
Look, this is how I look at it. You got all that money for Ukraine. You can give us that money too.
No, but see, here's the grift they're gonna pull. That's why they didn't want to debate him, because he was gonna say, yeah, but Ukraine, it was important, but we didn't give them money. We gave them equipment. It was the media that put a dollar value on it. That's how they're going to try to worm their way out of it. We can't let them get away with that.
Yeah, no, you can't, because
And yes, Jay. Yeah, Marcel talked to Fox News Digital. It's on his page. I don't know if it's the full interviews on his page. It might be, but yeah, he talked to Fox News Digital, and he talked about reparations, and then he got pissed off. They were trying to twist his words around.
Of course, because it's still mainstream media. I don't know why people
That's why I told them
exactly
why, right? And that's why I told the pastor, Trump got to talk to Marcel. But even again, it helps them both ways, because he can convince him about reparations, but off top, he's running against Clyburn. You just talked with your opponent. All right, Rob, peace. You just talked with your opponent to a former president, and he actually brought up reparations when your man over there said, y'all not getting it. And even Marcel has admitted he went through the neighborhoods in his district and talked about reparations and got the people on board. Now you just heard Trump say the word reparations. That means he's thinking about it now. Now you might have just turned that district blue, from blue to red.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's what happens when you get out there and you get dirty. You get down there, you know.
And you didn't even have to assault the man one time.
Nope,
that's
not
why,
at all.
and that goes to my overarching theme of this show. The optics would have been crazy. Politics is optics. It's literally in there. Optic. Take a couple of them letters. It's optic.
Yeah. You're right though.
They don't want to listen, but okay. I guess we're gonna be knocking off more politicians next year. Because guess what? AOC, the squad might die next year because your district ain't happy with you, ma'am. They not gonna vote for you again. You're not helping New York City. New York, I might say it might go red. That's 29 votes, 28 votes. That could be a swing state. Who would have thought to hear New York, a staunchly blue state, be a swing state?
Yo, your boy Black Light, his thumbnails is fire.
Oh no, that man be on it. He's been doing it for years. That man be on it. But that's why I say y'all got to have a conversation. I think if you go down to his realm, y'all have a conversation. You stream it to your channel, you got a conversation.
Yeah, we can do a dual stream. Shoot,
there you go. But that's what it is, folks. See, I ain't afraid to pull up on nobody. Yeah, hey, Donald, come down here. I don't bite. I will prep you for Jason Black because you ain't got you might not have a chance with that brother, but I'll prep you, sir. Come down here. I'm telling you, the fact that if he talks to Jason Black or Tariq, it's over. Y'all can't say nothing to the Black grassroots ever again in life.
Yeah, you can't.
That culture war is over.
It's over, especially if he talks to them and he takes some shit away from that.
Exactly. All you gotta say is, bruh, how do you feel about reparations? I'm willing. I came out with the platinum plan. I'm willing to revisit it. Can we get that as a firm confirmation? We could play that all day. He can't run from it.
Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Tariq, but when it comes to that conversation, he's the right person to have in the room for that.
Exactly. That's why I say he need to go to Mar-a-Lago. He need to go to Mar-a-Lago. Now, I don't know if he'll go, but it would look crazy for him to be in that room. It would look crazy to have Jason Black in that room. It would look crazy to have Ice Cube and Dr. Claude in that room. It would look crazy. They'd be like, them Negroes are serious.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that they don't listen to a Dr. Claude Anderson. I've been listening to Dr. Claude Anderson since
because Dr. Claude Anderson been calling out white folks for decades. They don't like that.
I think I got a book by him.
Yeah, but yeah, I gotta go too. I gotta get something to eat. I ain't eat all day. That was fun, Bloods. Yo, Dinesh, I tweeted out. I said, Dinesh, if Dr. Scott pulled up, you better pull up. He don't want to pull up. You're punk. You're punk. It's all good though. But yeah, so
and they see it. They act like they don't see it. They see it.
I don't know. Do you think they look at all these tweets when they get notifications? I don't think they get all these tweets.
If they don't, they see their name pop. I think a lot of them, like, they look to see if they're in the news or if they're being talked about across social media. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like, I know that I've heard my talking. I've heard my takes on mainstream media before. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one that broke the fake, like with the Ukraine lady. I'm the one that broke her having the fake AR.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that broke the Daniel Defense rifle in that one shooting. Next thing you know, boom, everybody's saying it.
Fact.
You know, they listen. So it'll get to him.
I hope, man, because I'm telling you, we need that. We need that.
You need to clip that. You need to clip that.
Oh no! As soon as I download this, I'm taking that whole section out. I'm putting it right back up. It might be up by 6 o'clock.
There you go.
But all right, y'all. They were fun. Something fun. Cut the fucking check already. Ken Hotep, thank you for coming through. Torian, thank you for coming through briefly. Black Light, as always, and shout out to the pastor.
All right, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. No, it's all good, Black Light. I know. I'm enjoying my last day before I gotta go on this new plantation. But yes, it's time, family. That's the kind of conversation we got. We got to press them. We got to press them. These conservatives, they know we out here. They want to ignore us. They can't ignore us no more. We literally just talked with someone for over an hour that was in Trump's White House. Do you know Fox News would kill to have that kind of coverage in an off election year? But this is what we do here in New Black Media. So if you ever needed to tell somebody why is the New Black Media so important, when I put up the clip of this of the conversation, you play that for him. He worked in Trump's White House and he came and talked to the Black grassroots. And all it took was for me to link him to the video. That's all it took. And to send him the StreamYard link. And we had a conversation. Now, again, I'm sure everybody in the room didn't agree with everything he says, but we're not going to agree on everything. But simple fact is, based on the tweets I've seen, and what he said here, he's willing to talk about reparations. And he's willing to get the movers and shakers to talk about it. That's what we need. Exactly, Carla. The same thing Andrew Yang did. We need a person here to do it. Can't always fall on Marcel. Shout out to that brother. When he gets into Congress, just like George Floyd, he will get a statue. There will be a statue of Marcel with the hat or a bust in every Black community. There should be one. Especially when y'all get y'all reparations. He's got to have one. I ain't gonna go as far as put him on Mount Rushmore. He might not want that. Maybe we'll do it in Stone Mountain Park. We'll see. He like Atlanta. But the overall theme is optics. Optics. Black conservatives, you can't be afraid to have a conversation with us. We're in the same boat. We go through the same struggles. Just don't think because you got some notoriety and some money in your bank account, we all go through the same thing. I appreciate that he's brought celebrities to the White House and Mar-a-Lago. I appreciate that. That's not enough. That's why I said when Trump ran, he's got to come talk in Black cities. He can't be going. Trump, I don't know if you're going to see this. You probably will, because I'm going to send Darrell the clip later. You can't say I'm going to do a rally in Georgia and go to Perry. You can't do that. Or Valdosta. You can't do that. You got to come to Atlanta. There's nothing for you to say, I'm going to have a rally in Centennial Olympic Park. There's Bankhead is literally down the street. It's not a problem. Talk to Black folks. We're not gonna yell at you. Now you might have some coons that might disrupt the place, but we're not gonna yell at you. We actually want to have an honest conversation and see what kind of time you're on. If you go to New York, what's wrong with you going to Brooklyn? I'm talking about real Brooklyn. What's the problem? You could easily do a Q&A, a set amount of tickets at King's Theater in Flatbush. Literally. You could literally shut down Flatbush Avenue and have a Q&A inside the King's Theater. Chicago, you could have the Chicago Theater and invite people from the West and South Side and have a conversation. A real town hall with Black folks. It's not that hard. Hell, bring a Black moderator to ask the question. Someone on code. You can find an on-code person in Chicago. You can find an on-code person in New York. You can find an on-code person in Miami. You can find one in Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Kansas City. We're out here. OKC, we're out here. It's not that hard. Denver, Jesse Paris, he's running for mayor. Go have a conversation with him. The optics alone, you talking to black folks, would shift the culture. But, you know, I ain't on your team, so I'm just making a suggestion. But anyway, yo, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody sticking through it. I didn't think it was going to go that long, but it did. But it is what it is. Like I said, starting tomorrow, I'll do the update once I figure out this schedule and what my schedule really going to look like. And that'll influence the uploads and the live streams. So just check out the community tab. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the Rumble page. Just look up Kid Gravity. I put the link somewhere earlier, but I'll put it again in the I'll pin it in the comment section. But got 17 months, family. 17 months. And you saw how quick the 6 months passed between the midterms and now. It's very quick. But anyway, y'all, take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agitators of peace come to mess up your existence.